What's up, y'all? My name is Suleiman Azimi. This is Greg Sunga. We are duo. We're here to promote our event, which is on September 18th, Saturday in Oakland, California. We're going to be hosting a charity event for the ongoing crisis in Afghanistan. We're going to be playing our new album live, and we're going to be also playing the music of our new album live for you. We hope you can be there. Please head to www.duoexp.com to purchase your tickets. Limited tickets available now. Greg Sanga, talk to me.
Shout out Aiden Nelson, who helped record the project Ocean Mountain. That will be the album you'll be listening to. All of the proceeds will be going towards a good cause. So hope you come with a good appetite for both music and food, and we'll have a good time.
For sure. Peace, peace. See you there.
It can't be that bad, oh, 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 it can't be that bad.
Greg, if I ever rap, I want you to ad-lib for me and say those exact words.
Dude,
That's a thick-ass microphone.
A segment that I want to throw into, like maybe behind a paywall for ICBTB is Freestyle Friday.
So where we dress like Zappy and we have like casual clothes on, jeans, and maybe like a t-shirt?
No, I like the idea. We could do that. The ideas can still work, but we just freestyle over non-copyright tracks and just like put it out and have guests on. Cause like you guys would be dope for that. Ty would be dope for that. Or just and like even people that don't freestyle would be the funniest thing. And
Thanks for keeping me included in that.
Well, I already included you in
I
this.
thought that was the last one. And like people who don't freestyle, it's like, oh, that's me. Finally,
But
I'm
in
good.
post, I'm just gonna edit you out.
Bitch.
Sule, did you get more tattoos, or have I never seen your legs?
I got a new leg tat.
Whoa, man!
I got a full leg tat. Look at it.
How did it? Okay,
That's nice. That
few
is nice.
questions. What is it?
It's two tigers. One starts on my knee, which is a little harder to see because my knee's dark. And then there's another tiger towards the bottom of my shin. And one is on the top of like a cliff. One is at the bottom on the ground looking up. The one on the cliff's looking down. The one on the ground's looking up.
Like Scar and Mufasa.
No.
Oh,
I love the immediate. Did you frown?
my mistake.
It's a story that I learned. The story is
The Lion King.
two tigers. No, sorry. It's tigers above and below is the story. And the story is that something like there's a young girl or a boy, whatever, running through the jungle, and she notices that there's a tiger locked in on her. Let's call her. And feels fear, and she runs and runs through the jungle, and finally comes to a cliff's edge. There's nowhere else to go. And she notices a tree at the cliff's edge. She runs to the tree, and there are roots dangling off the cliff's edge. And the tiger's locked in on her, so she goes to the roots, and she climbs down the roots. So she's safe, and she looks up, and the tiger's above, right? And she takes a breath, and she's safe, and she looks down, and there's a tiger below, too, looking up at her, right? And she wonders, what should I do? There's tigers above, tigers below. And she looks to her right or left, and she sees a strawberry bush growing out of the side of the cliff. She's hanging on the root, and and then she sees a big, juicy strawberry, and she pulls it off the plant, and takes a big bite of the juicy strawberry, and that's the end of the story.
Oh.
So it's
She lives on the roots forever.
It's a story of It's a story of like being in the moment. The present moment is the fruit of life. Tigers above and below is like the past and the present. Or the past and the future rather. And then there's this moment. There's this juicy strawberry in the moment. So I was inspired by the story, but I already had the idea of having a cat on my knee, which one of my best buds has, and I just liked that, and I wanted one too, a cat on my knee. But then that just like made me go for it. I was like, it's a great story, and I already want cats on my legs, so I'll just do it.
Looks like it's beautiful artwork.
It is, man. It's a really beautiful artwork. Shout out to Victor J. Webster. Victor J. Webster is just an incredible artist. He also did the artwork on my arm. He's in Monterey, California now.
I think the art form that is getting tattoos, that's like such a beautiful concept that could easily be misused. People get addicted to getting tattoos all the time, and they get stupid shit on their body. Like, even when they understand that, hey, like, this is gonna be on your body forever. And I could just be an asshole because I'm the only person in this room, literally, that doesn't have a tattoo.
Oh, so you can't even talk, bro? It's like, no, I'm just playing. You
No,
can talk.
but like, I have talked to some individuals that I've met at some parties, and they're drunk as fuck, and they just have like really bad tattoos that hold zero meaning behind them. They just wanted to get it because they were drunk one time at a random town, and they're like, yeah, I guess I vibe with Donald Duck, and I'll get it on my back. And now they have a shitty picture of Donald Duck that looks more like Daffy Duck on their back.
Well, that's the most egregious parts about it. If they do a Daffy Duck and it doesn't look like Donald Duck.
And you just have to deal with that, and you have to get more money to like
Let's
cover it
talk
up.
about your tattoo right there. What is that?
This is a reimagining of Blackbeard the pirate's flag. It represents the devil carrying the spear of destiny, which was the spear that pierced Jesus' heart as he was suffocating on the cross. That heart represents Jesus' cross. As his blood drips down, it was collected in the Holy Grail, which immediately lit on fire because,
Okay.
Blackbeard, baby.
Isn't it like a hard thing to respond to?
I don't even know what just happened.
Like what your ideologies and like what you're
Pirate.
into. But like, yes, and it comes down
It's
to
pirate.
he loves pirates. He loves Blackbeard.
Do you know what Blackbeard did before he was a pirate? He was an English teacher.
Had a brown beard.
Oh, that's funny. He was an English teacher. His name was Edward Teeth. And then his ship got taken over by pirates. And then he looked around at all the idiots and was like, I could run this shit. And then he became the most feared pirate in the world.
Really?
Yes,
I
sir.
don't know anything about this guy.
When he died, the story is that they cut his head from his body and tied it to the front of their ship. And then his body swam around that ship 3 times before it sank.
I was just thinking like pirates back in the day, you know, it's all like, "Arr," and now like pirates would be like, "Give me your shit, cuz."
They're just
come
dude,
a long way.
pirates are just ocean gangsters.
I know, right?
That's what it is.
Greg, do you know what a pirate's favorite letter is?
R.
Most people think it's R. It's actually the C.
You're so whack, bro.
Thank you. I'll be here all week, Tuesdays and Thursdays.
The way he did that shit was funny.
He's used to it. He's gonna be
feel
a
like-
great dad.
I feel like Alejandro has waited his entire life for the moment of this joke.
Not even because he said this maybe 4 times on the podcast.
Quite a bit. I
But
like
then
that
there's
joke.
new guests. He just likes new audience members.
That joke made James Franco laugh, so
Really?
it's staying in my pocket.
When did you tell him that?
I was telling somebody else that, and I was at the Harry Potter play in New York. He was 1 row in front of me. I was walking past, I was in row R, and the girl was in the way, so I said a joke, hey, you know what a pirate's favorite letter is? R. And I said, no, it's actually C. And I looked over at him, and he chuckled. He definitely fucking heard me.
Really?
Yes, sir, he did.
Nice.
Dude, congratulations.
Thank you. And then on the way
Shut
out, I was like right behind him, and I was throwing away my trash, and he looked at what I was throwing away because he's interested in me.
Yeah.
James
you wanted
Franco
to
is
know what
interested
you
in my
were
life.
throwing away.
That's right. It's 2 glass bottles, Brooklyn Lager. There you go, James Franco.
Wow.
Were you hoping that he'd like you enough that he'd be like, "Who's that guy that said that pirate joke?"
Hey, tell me that pirate joke one more time.
I have this perfect role for a character in my upcoming
Cut to
movie.
8 months later, I'm like scooping ice cream, like not saying anything.
This guy said a pirate joke.
That's Hollywood, baby. Welcome, everybody.
Hey, welcome to another episode of
ICBTB's Highly
Podcast.
Irrelevant.
Oh yes, highly irrelevant.
You don't even know what day it is.
Dude, it's kind
It's
of
the
like,
same day.
I'm gonna say real quick, it is weird not doing this with headphones, and I'm like really trying to adjust. So, oh yeah, baby. Guys, how you feeling?
Cold.
Good.
You guys literally just showed us your new album. I feel special as fuck because it hasn't even come out yet.
It's a dream come true.
The
to
fact,
listen to albums with the artist before it comes out.
and you guys were contemplating just like, hey, let's just show the homies like, 2 or 3 joints. But you guys gave us the full experience from beginning to end with context, with like director's commentary as we were going. Sule was over here just like, no, run it back. It felt like I was in the studio with y'all.
You can't pay for an experience like that. That is truly a once-in-a-lifetime thing. I mean,
It
I really
was
don't know when
incredible.
I'll ever get an opportunity to experience that again. Because I get to listen to the music with the artist who, I mean, And then Christian's over there in the corner getting me beer. What a day in the life, man. What a day in the
Yeah,
life.
dude, I'm such a good friend, and we have
I didn't say that.
Hey, fuck you, dude. But no, speaking of good friends, guys, you guys are back for the third time on ICBTB.
Yeah, thanks for having us, man.
Yeah, no, we've gone like people like you guys because you guys.
People really like your episodes.
I think it's just a good vibe and a good time every single time you guys come on. So thanks for coming on again.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, baddies, we have once again for the third time on the casting couch, duo EXP, Greg Sunga and Suleiman. Thanks for coming out, y'all.
Y'all.
So you guys have a new album coming out, September 18th, titled Ocean Mountain. And like we talked about last time you guys were here, you guys want to talk about that a little bit more?
Not at the same, I mean, not at the same time, though.
Whoa, yeah.
Where do we start?
yeah.
Ocean Mountain, yeah, it's an album that we recorded over this summer. We did it at the house we live in Martinez, California, with our good friend Aiden Nelson, who was the recording engineer for everything.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, man, pretty cool experience. Well, it's like 3 different sessions that we did.
4 sessions.
Four
We did it
sessions.
in 4 days. Over the course of I think a few months.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, I got to say, it's something that I've never. I have a hard time with music. I'm pretty much a muggle, as you guys would call them. A muggle with like friends who know what's happening. So I understand music a little bit, but that was fucking awesome. Like honestly, just listening to the whole album in its entirety in its one sitting. It's not something a lot of people do often with almost anything. I mean, a layperson like myself, it's almost impossible to sit and listen to an entire album from beginning to end and get everything from it. And what a fucking experience I had just there. I mean, every single song I thought was going to be my favorite one, and then the next one would come on, and that sounds almost like a cliche, but truly, it's just everything is topping itself and adding itself, and there's notes of, melancholy and sadness that come right back into like a hardcore, just like a real rock and roll sound. And then one of the songs I said reminded me of like Lenny Kravitz, and you said it was like a Red Hot Chili Peppers mix, and it was just such a great experience for somebody like me to listen to music that I've never heard before.
Well, thanks so much, man. That's like super meaningful, and I think just the work that we put into the album, like it means a lot coming from someone like yourself. Just like you said, like maybe a muggle like
Yes,
yourself,
yes.
bro.
A muggle plus one.
You're,
a muggle plus
you
one.
said it first, but it's good to see that it's resonating, on all levels. Because even Christian was having a good time too.
Yes.
Definitely.
And
And it's important. I'm sure you guys have listened to this over and over again, like through different ways of like you guys were telling me you guys would listen to it in your car, through speakers, through headphones, over and over again, because this is your guys' baby. And so it's important to see how it is received with people that haven't like listened to it or that are listening to it for the first time, especially, right? Because it's like photographers that edit their photos and post. You look at one thing for the longest time and it starts looking like mush, and that's why they have to take a break and come back to it. But then like you finally edit the photo and post, and you put it out, and like someone sees it and they love it. That's exactly like what we were to you, because I think I have a broken like neck from how much I was like moving to your guys' album. It's so good. And what's beautiful with just you two, and I've talked about it before, you guys have this like wall of sound with it just being you two, live or pre-recorded, just like this album. What's beautiful is that you guys are each highlighted equally in each and every track, vocals and guitar, and the very intricate like rhythm that you got as a drummer. Like obviously I grew up with you. We did Drumline, and like I get off to like the unpredictable fills that you have that don't make sense. It doesn't make any sense to me, but like, yo, man, I'm moving to it. So like, once again, you guys killed it, and I'm so proud of you guys.
The thing that I kept thinking about with your drumming, Greg, was like, it's almost like Frank Sinatra's singing, where he like purposely chooses to be, one beat behind. He's changing it a little bit. He's making it his own. It was truly, that was the first thing that came to my mind, where it was just like that. He's singing with drums.
Thank you. Yeah, like I just remember what you were saying to me about like when we first got the mixes back, and you were kind of like, dude, you're drumming on this album, because I was kind of the opposite about it in the moment, not getting to listen back to everything, and you kind of record the takes as it comes, and you're like, all right, I'm gonna hear it when it's all good. And
Yeah.
I even remember there was a couple songs where, do you remember what songs they were? Where you decided to like step out for a little bit, and I was like, oh yeah, I got this. What song was that?
Why? Because I wasn't.
Nah, there was just like you kind of let me and Aiden do our thing when we record. Because let me rewind. So the way we would record is we do like drums first, and then we do guitar, and then we do vocals. So all these 4 different sessions, we get everything set up. We'd sit down, get everything tuned in, and make sure the mics are all working, and then we record drums. And so there was this one of the sessions where we were just kind of doing our thing. I think you just like stepped out to smoke or something, and then when you came back in, or like I was already done. Oh, maybe it was the day you weren't feeling too well. You had stepped out. Me and Aiden finished one of the songs, and then when it was your time to come in and record the guitars, you were like, "What the fuck is like?
Yeah. I had a
What is
meltdown.
all of this shit? Like, what did you just record?"
You Michael Jordan it? You flu gamed it and just came in sick and made it that
I had
fire?
a meltdown. Is what he's talking about.
Well, I call that Michael Jordaning.
Yeah. Well, and I guess like my point is like stuff like that happened, right? There was some tension during the album where
course.
we recorded stuff, and it was kind of like I was going on my own intuition, and it ended up not being the way that, Suleiman wanted it to be in the first place. But then as the record kind of came
I was
together,
wrong. Yeah, I was
he
wrong.
was like, yo, it's actually dope. And so like hearing the mixes after
It was like what I had written in my mind too.
We have those same arguments all the time.
All the time. Sometimes like it doesn't feel right or good in the moment because like we are so instilled in our own beliefs, but you guys are a collaborative team with 2 different perspectives on music, which is what makes your guys' like duo, a beautiful like culmination of music. And so everything that is outside of your box, it's a Venn diagram. Everything that's like outside of your box might be in his box. You guys bring each other new different angles to music that you guys never would have thought of, right?
Yeah.
Like obviously you are rhythmically inclined and you know what like good vocals and like good melodies and like chord progressions sound like. But then like you are vocally and like
I'm
melodically
rhythmically inclined too.
Oh, I'm sure you are. I'm sure you definitely are. But like that's definitely like he's the drummer of your guys' duo, So he's the one that's actually like bringing it from the brain to the kit, right?
Nah, I see what you're trying to say. It's definitely, it's like the same old duality thing.
Ocean Mountain.
Yeah.
We have different things. Like I consider myself a drummer at heart. Greg knows my drumming soul, my drum essence. I think he can recognize it as a drummer. Yeah, even though I'm not a practice drummer, I do.
Drum around.
I like, I really like the drums in terms of when we write our stuff. That's why I was like watching you react to Greg's drum parts and stuff too.
I played the drums a little myself. I was in middle school. Thank you. I've been waiting for a long time. I've been in middle school drumline for a little while, but growing up, I always wanted to be a drummer. And drum set was one of the first big purchases I ever made in my life. And it's always been something that's been super intrinsic in my life. Something that I've always been able to connect to is the bass line and the drumming of songs. That's something I can always focus into and I'm pulled to, and it is, I've tried. Everyone in my family plays guitars except for me, and so I'm like literally the only one in the Middleton family who can't just like curl my fingers the right goddamn way. But that's fine because I can bang on drums as loud as anybody else can, and that's kind of like the louder you are, the smarter you are, right?
You guys got something here. Like, how did it feel like to complete it, to listen to it, and to know that you guys had this product you guys been working on for so long?
Felt dope, man. I mean, like I said, there was kind of like the uncertainty in the moment for me personally, and then just like being able to hear the full product and even just hear it evolve too. There's been so many different mixes that we've listened to and things that we added. We were telling you about that end part there where we added some vocal stuff at the end. Like we did that last, maybe like 2 weeks ago we did that. So it was like right at the tail end. But yeah, man, it's been so cool, and it's just like the entire process of creating an album is in and of itself, just when you do it the right way, like such a cool experience. And when it comes out good, but I think that comes with making sure you have a good team of people to create the album too, right? Not just like studio bedroom hero. Like, all right, I bought my Fruity Loops. Da 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 da. I made
Yeah,
this.
man.
Like, we were really doing the thing with Aiden in particular. Like, he's got all the gear that.
Tell
we
him
ab-
how we did it, Greg.
Oh hell yeah, man! Like, this man rolled all of his shit in. He's got like freaking all the mics that we needed. Every single drum on my kit was mic'd. We had every single amplify or every
cool.
single amp mic'd. We created vocal booth for when we did vocals. It's just like, shout out Fantasy Studios. That's actually how I know Aiden is through Fantasy. And I mean, the way we were recording is just like we would be there at at Fantasy Studios, just creating all of the same things that we would do. Yeah, for sure, man. So
Fantasy Studios, legendary studio, Berkeley,
Straight up.
California.
hell yeah.
We recorded our first record there, live. Death of Poor Boy live from Fantasy Studios, Berkeley,
So cool.
California. And Greg and Aiden were both interns there, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And learned the ways under some of the legends that have worked in that studio.
Yeah.
And we brought some of that legendary knowledge into our home and recorded this album over the course of 4 days.
What is so cool is that you guys live with each other, which is, I don't know if the baddies know that. You guys live with each other. You guys have brought this studio to your home, and to mix such a beautiful thing that is usually separate from like the place that you live. But like, cause the studio has a sense of home when like music is like your fucking passion, when it's your love. And to bring this place, like, I find it analogous to like having the studio for this podcast in here. Sometimes I do just walk into this room and I'm like, fuck, Alejandro and I, like, this is like where we've like just created some beautiful conversations and like met some like amazing people and had some great talks. And like now you guys have like intertwined that feeling of like you guys made some beautiful music in this home that you get to wake up to. Your kit and your guitar and bass and your microphone, they are inside your home. So you wake up, you see that shit there. And so like that's a beautiful thing to put inside of your home.
Let's say like the idea of doing it at the home is
Is it contrasting from like what we've been saying? What do you say? Was it mixing work with home?
Is it hard to turn off your work brain now because it's in your house?
No, I mean, the thing is you can do a record in the house, but if you got good equipment, then it can sound good,
Yeah.
Sure.
right? Like everyone's making music in their house.
Rick Rubin records in a trailer, like an Airstream.
Right, but he's still got that whole thing though.
He's still Rick
I think he
Rubin, yeah.
mixes in the Airstream.
Is that what it is?
Mistaken, yeah.
Okay.
But regardless, I mean, to your point, like everyone is creating from their bedrooms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Additionally, like the feeling of creating an album after you've created it and just reflecting on the process and the memories and the nostalgia around where you did it, especially if you're like waking up in the same place, which admittedly I don't really feel necessarily like this specialness around our home since we've made the album necessarily, but it is, as you've mentioned, it starting to develop. Like that's kind of factual, like
For sure.
it is real. Like, yeah, in a couple months or something, we're gonna think about it. We will, because we'll be sitting in the room like, oh wow, depending on wherever Ocean Mountain takes us. But yeah, so no, agreeable to what you're saying. Like, it makes sense. Like, it's just like memories and the process, and then deciding to do it in our home is a how do you say, like it's gonna be a strong memory,
Yeah.
right?
Let's say in like 5 years or however many years. I don't know like what your guys' plans are in terms of like living situations when life does move on.
Sure.
But like when you do, let's say you run into pictures of the home that you're currently living in. And be
Right,
like,
this kind of thing.
fuck.
Yeah.
We
do that.
recorded entire album right there.
Well, we do that already with like recording a fantasy for our first record. Our second record we did in San Rafael with Aiden, who's who's engineered our most recent record. He'll produce it as well. And similarly, we feel a nostalgia around the process of having created,
Yeah.
art in different periods of our life.
Yeah.
Like you ask us about this record, it's like, at least for me, it's I'm not at the point where I can reflect on it in a sort of nostalgic way.
Yeah, it's so
Of course
fresh.
not. I mean, You're
Yeah.
not, it's not out yet. How could you be nostalgic about something that hasn't even been?
That's
It's like it's impossible. I don't know.
That's how it is nowadays. You know, like people online and they release the nostalgia aesthetic earlier than
They're like Throwback Thursday to my album that hasn't released.
yeah.
Throwback Thursday to when I recorded this 6 months ago and then gave it to producers and let them make it actually work. It's like, no, that's not what you guys do. You guys make it work. I have to pee.
You gotta pee already?
You know what? I'm so sorry. My bladder has gotten a lot smaller in my life as I'm getting older.
Go ahead, man.
Okay, go ahead, go pee.
We got a couple pee stories in the meantime. Go ahead.
Fantastic. Christian never lets my pee stories in.
Dude, yeah. So we're not gonna talk about pee. I'm just gonna let you.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Do we don't. I want to talk. There's so. I got you guys here right now. We're talking about your new album and shit. It's so.
This man Greg, all right? Let me tell you.
We're gonna talk about his pee.
Huh? How old are you? This man Greg was a kid, okay?
Yeah.
I don't know, like 5.
He goes to the bathroom. I don't know what his age is. He goes to the bathroom. He's at the doctor's office. Doctor gives him a little cup to pee in.
Uh huh.
So he goes to the bathroom. Because, you're supposed to pee in the cup. And then, you like put it in the little thing or whatever and you give it back to the doctor. This man goes to the bathroom, right? He's like a kid. He's not thinking. He pees in the little cup. And then he like looks at it and he goes, pours it in the toilet.
What? You wasted your pee?
He just poured it in the toilet and he goes like to the door. He's like walking out. He's like, something doesn't feel right about this. He's like, something's missing.
The best part was too when I went back to the doctor. I was like, all right, like, and then because I threw the cup away, and then the doctor was like, Greg, where's the cup? And I was like, oh well, I threw it away. And then like when it was like one of those like delayed reactions too, because like when he asked, I was like, oh, I threw it away, but then like right after my answer, it was like, oh,
That's what I was supposed to do.
I was supposed to bring it back, and then he was like, you have to go back. You have to pee in this cup for me.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking in my head, dude, how am I going to pee if I
Again.
just peed?
You
Like,
can't.
but I did. So I went back, and I was like, all right, man, I'll try. And like, I mean, granted, it wasn't as much as I thought it was going to be, but I was able to pee in the cup and then bring it back to the doctor, and yeah, it was cool.
I had an uncle once who had to take a stool sample at the doctor's office, and they gave him the cup, and it was in a paper bag, and they handed it to him, and he just shit in the paper bag. And so he went back to the nurses and dropped his paper bag on their desk and said, all right, see you guys later, and walked away. And I remember my dad telling me that story and be like, what? He didn't like look in the bag? Or no, they handed him a bag, and he said, okay, I'll shit
It's
in
like,
the
okay, I'll take it.
That's what you want. All right. Who am I to say? I'm not a nurse.
I just had difficulty with pee samples because it was just so hard to get it in the cup because my accuracy is not that great. Sometimes it splits.
Well, that's a great segue because I recently went to the urologist for the same thing. I was like, well, sometimes when I pee, my pee splits.
Yeah.
So I went to the urologist, and similarly, I had peed into this thing, like this machine that tests like your flow strength.
Why isn't that in every urinal?
Whoa, that'd be great.
Anyways, it's like, no, I'm just playing. So it tested my pee strength and whatever, and then I like emptied my bladder, and then
I need my bowels in it, and they kicked me out. I couldn't believe why they would do that.
no, she did the
Ultrasound?
ultrasound, yeah, to see, and she said there was still pee in my bladder, so then I had more to pee.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I forget. Yeah,
I
basically.
think you were making this point because like of my story where I had to go back and pee.
Oh,
again.
Oh,
yeah,
and so
yeah.
you still had more after
yeah, I
that?
have more than I thought. You think when you're done peeing, you actually have like more.
I usually get it out.
No, there's
usually
more.
get it all
Actually,
out.
sitting down when you pee helps because then it really fully drains you.
You do that too. I never make fun of the fact that you sit down and pee.
No,
If
I
you
don't.
gotta pee, you gotta
Yeah,
pee.
no, I don't accept criticism for it. I always sit when I pee.
Yeah, all right. But one time when I was a kid, I was like, I was like super young.
Uh-huh. You can just pull that closer to you, the entire base, if you'd like.
I was like super young, and I probably like 4 or 5 years old,
Yeah.
and I was living in my apartment at the time in Virginia.
Your own apartment at 4 or 5 years old.
Yep, it was crazy.
Same
You're
thing.
incredible.
I was living in an apartment with my parents in Virginia growing up, and I was in my room. My bathroom was right across the hall from my bathroom. I was like maybe 4 or 5, I don't know. And I woke up and I had to pee really bad. And I had like one of these closets, like a sliding door or something like that. So I slid the door open. I used to have these like little buckets with my toys in it. Like these little yellow, they look like cylindrical, like the things of Super Mario, you know?
Yeah, nice.
Just like that. For some reason, I still, to this day, I have no idea why I did this. Like, I was like, I just like,
this.
huh?
I'm gonna piss in this thing. This thing's now gonna fill my. I'm gonna
Yeah,
fill it
but the
with piss.
bathroom was like literally right there. But for some reason, I like emptied the toys out, all my toys out of the bucket, and just peed in the bucket.
You were like sleepwalking,
Not a bad move though. I wouldn't have removed the toys.
sleep peeing.
Wait, so
Yeah.
many. What? No, remove the toys. At least you did that.
Well, one time I peed in a drawer. I didn't realize it until the next morning. Somebody was telling me like, "Oh yeah, we found you last night peeing in a
I still
drawer."
don't really know like what
drawer?
happened to the pee.
I don't know why I peed in a drawer either, and all that stuff's fine. That stuff gets used regularly.
I mean, I don't
Not
think
by
it
me, it
would
wasn't my
like
drawer.
destroy the drawer.
I didn't. What is your piss acid?
What did you do for with the bucket afterwards? The bucket was fine,
Your
right?
parents cleaned
I
it
was a
up. You're
kid,
4
I
years old.
remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
I just remember getting up. I had to pee, and I was like, I'm gonna pee in this bucket. When my toys, I emptied my toys out and just peed in the bucket, and I guess I went back to sleep. But like the bathroom was literally right there. Like it made no sense.
Man, I think the logic that we had as children just made zero sense. I think we did it for amusement.
I think we're like onto something like with pee when you're a
Yeah.
kid. It's like confusing.
It is. It's like,
What is this?
dude, you've unlocked something that I've been questioning.
Nah, we have together, brother.
Bathrooms as children is the most weird thing ever. There's so many different ways to do it. Do you straddle it? Do you sit forward? Do you wipe from front to back or back to front? Do you wipe? Do you wash?
The
What do
wiping
you
thing.
do?
The wiping thing I never learned until I was like good and well into my 20s.
I'm gonna tell y'all right now
Yes.
what you do.
What?
Front to back, right?
I'm gonna tell y'all right
I'm
now
a
what
back
you
to
do.
front guy.
When you pee, you sit down. When you pee.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I don't.
And when you stand up to shit,
No.
oh,
Just to let it run down your
that's what,
thigh.
I thought that's where this was going.
Greg's having a drink because he knows it's about to be a moment real quick, right?
Okay, there we go.
All right, we're gonna have a moment. All right, so
All right.
when you're in your home,
Yeah.
Uh huh. Yes, I've been there. Yes.
Should I confirm? Yes. We've
you
been
go
there.
to pee.
Yes, yes.
You have a seat because it's your toilet seat. It's your thighs. You sit on that seat. You tuck it in.
Okay.
You know, hopefully
Yeah.
you don't have like.
A boner.
Well, all right, hold on.
I'm sorry.
What's happening here? I pee very differently than
You're
you guys
jumping ahead.
apparently.
Okay, okay.
We'll adjust the boner. Normal life. You sit down, you pee. It's like the proper angle. Everything empties out.
Yeah.
Chris is like,
Yeah. Chris is trying to learn how to pee. He's
Look,
never,
I'm gonna tell you how to
no one's
pee.
Never explained it to
I'm
him.
gonna tell you.
Your storytelling's incredibly impeccable.
I'm gonna tell you,
Christopher Walken
like,
teach you?
it's really simple. It's your bathroom. It's your
Yes.
home. You
Yes.
sit down. You come inside. You gotta pee. Sit down. You tuck the joint in the joint. You can even put like, a paper, little toilet paper, just so you protect your. You know?
We might
Okay.
have different streams if you have to put paper down to protect
No,
what?
you all right? Because your shit's gonna touch the,
Like
toilet
the
seat.
toilet seat.
Oh,
Oh.
I see.
Even in your own home. I'm just saying, like, if you
I
really want to
hate
be
it.
about it.
Yeah,
right?
no, my dick's not that big.
When your thing touches the front of the bowl,
Yeah.
No,
it's
but my
very
balls,
Bad,
my balls do
bad.
touch the water.
bad.
Yeah, so you put toilet paper, protect it. Okay, that can work in public too if you really want to do that. But that's a separate subject. In your home, you sit down, you pee. You're a man. You sit down, you pee. It's a proper angle. Everything empties out. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You can even take a little one sheet of toilet paper and just
Yeah,
pat.
do the dab.
Yeah,
Christian.
Pat it
I do that. I do
instead
I-
of
get rid of the residual. Apparently, yeah.
Right?
I
Three
take
shakes is
I
plenty
take
of
a
stuff.
Q-tip and
which
just
it's not right because when you shake when you're standing up and you put it back in your pants and then
always a dribble.
You get dribble.
Yeah.
Always
Yes.
dribble.
Yes.
right? All right. So you want to keep your shit clean. You sit down. It empties out properly. Then you get up. You're on your way. If you want to do a little dab, you get up and you're on your way. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Poop.
Oh, chapter 2.
That's how you pee.
What is this, an
In your
audiobook? The way you're telling the story is like an audiobook.
Chapter 2, poop.
All right.
Chapter 3, diarrhea. Epilogue, butt pee.
All right. We're going to get into it. Poop. Most of y'all be going to poop. What you do? You poop, then you use the toilet paper, right?
Yeah.
Toilet paper. You gotta
Every
have
time.
the toilet paper. There's no toilet paper in there. Oh, there's gotta be toilet paper. Where's the toilet paper?
Squeeze harder.
COVID. Finish all the toilet paper, right? No.
I don't think you understand COVID.
Look, you get a fucking tissue, toilet paper, whatever. You don't need that much. You get the first, just the main shit off. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Get that shit off. That's fine. You don't want to touch that. That's fine. Understandable.
Yep.
Then you get a little fucking plant waterer.
Yeah.
Tabo. He's describing a tabo.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
He's describing a tabo.
Is that
Comes in-
Filipino?
comes
It
in-
is.
Definitely.
We call it a tamlut.
My dad,
Very simple.
my dad would just have
Tamlut.
like an old Gatorade bottle in Indonesia. They just
Gatorade
called
bottle,
it an
whatever.
old water
It doesn't
bottle.
matter. Yeah. Fucking use your Yeti fucking canteen.
It's literally everybody but America who does this shit. So yeah,
Clean your ass.
clean your ass, bro.
Take a poop.
Yep.
Clean your ass.
Clean it.
I don't know about you. If I don't do that, it's weird. It feels bad. It
I
feels-
almost
doesn't feel good.
I almost just want to poop pre-shower.
Yeah, that
You
makes
know
sense.
what I mean? Like that's almost one of the like if I unless I'm forced to poop in like a place, I'll poop pre-shower if I can.
I know people that shower and then are like, "Fuck, I gotta poop," and then
They're doing
poop,
backwards.
and then shower again.
That's
Really?
putting milk and
Yeah.
then cereal in. That's
Well, see,
that's
you don't-
backwards.
so you don't got to do that. You just clean your ass with like fucking
Soap.
with soap, water, and a plant water, or a Gatorade bottle.
Thank
But
you.
you take the main shit off with the toilet paper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The chunks.
This is you're so Filipino.
We're
You're an
all on it.
honorary
Hey,
Filipino
we're good
right
to
now.
go, man. You're also honorary
All right, but
Indonesian.
when you're at fucking Baralista and you got to use the bathroom,
Hey,
When you're at
knife
bar-
hand, buddy. Knife hand. I had an uncle who was in the army in Vietnam. This knife hand is what solves all problems, baby. You can karate chop a motherfucker. You can wipe a motherfucker. You can save a motherfucker. Knife hand, baby.
knife hand. What do you do with knife hand when you're peeing though? What do you
Wet
mean?
paper towel, right?
Oh, I don't have that problem. I
Or you mean
like
pooping.
I do the cucumber chop with it. Right? That's how I get it.
I don't understand what the cucumber
You know how you
supposed to be.
cucumber chop? You go down
Well,
the
man.
you go down the cucumber.
Like a literal cucumber is what you're talking about? I am so confused.
Yeah, I can't believe this. We're not. I mean, this is so your album.
No, but that's
That's the fact.
you're
of
an
life.
honorary Filipino. I'm gonna say that real quick because everything you said was just a breakdown of like Filipino culture,
It's
and
like how Afghans get down too. I'm Afghan, so
Yeah.
we learn to like clean our ass, just sit down when we pee. It's just like it's just more, appropriate for like the next person who needs to use the bathroom just so
Yes.
that it's clean. Same thing when you poop. Like, well, the poop is a little different because it has more to do with like
Clearing the
actually
demons.
cleaning yourself.
Yeah.
Not whereas the peeing thing has like emptying your bladder, keeping the toilet seat clean. That's the benefits. With the pooping thing, it's like cleaning your ass is just better because it just does. You know what I'm saying? Like when you just use toilet paper, it's not actually clean. Y'all know that. Everybody knows that. Nobody wants to say anything. But all you gotta do is just clean it.
That's the first thing Greg said in like 10 minutes.
Greg's like,
yeah, I don't know if my ass is clean when I wipe it. I just
wait.
take it.
You just sit down. And it's just like, oh, it's itchy. I guess I didn't get
I've
everything.
been told the harder you push, the less you have to wipe.
I mean, well,
all right, let's talk
fact.
about something else.
It's a fact. No, 100%. I'm so sorry that I derailed the podcast for a solid 20
For
minutes.
having to go pee?
Just because I had to pee. I did not realize it would take us into this deep, dark black hole.
Greg had that great story, when he's just peeing in a cup. He was like, he just poured it in the toilet.
It fit. Yeah, I got up to this line.
He's like, oh.
Yeah. I didn't.
So-
I thought it was like I couldn't get the toilet seat dirty. That's why I did it. I was like, maybe they just want us to keep it clean in here.
you're a gentleman. I think you're just a gentleman.
It is a both genders bathroom. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to
Yeah,
make
definitely.
it obvious.
I'm definitely like, oh,
Sometimes after I sit to pee, I'll pick the seat up just so they know a man was in there.
no, I hate that. And that's the most. Oh, you're such a. That's the douchiest thing you could do. That's the douchiest thing you could do. Baddies, thanks for tuning into the show. This episode is brought to you by Wild Heart Stones. If you need some fossils, gems, and sage, we have a website for you.
That's right. My friend Kyle, she's promised to bring us the best self-collected, self-selected, and treasured gems to you, all at very reasonable prices on her website, wildheartstones.com. Kyle and her father have been digging up these rocks all her life. Her dad was a geology professor back in the day, and they used to go to rock shows. They pretty much know everything that rock.
Nice. You guys could save 15% on all of your purchases. Just use promo code ICBTB at checkout. And a link to the website will be down in the description, or you can find it on our website at ICBTB.com.
Thank you guys so much. Wildheartstones.com.
Yeah, check
Thank
them
you,
out.
Kyle.
Enjoy the show. Well, let's bring it back. So What's in terms of live performance, like with this new thing coming out, are you guys gonna like try to tour with it? Are you guys gonna try to like a mini tour of some sort?
We're
Or
asking because if you need an opening act, we'd be happy to do it.
Touring is something we just recently mentioned, but it had like something to do with something else. But touring is something we ought to do. I mean, I guess it depends. I mean, we're both working people. We're not full-time musicians, so
yeah.
we'll have to find the time to make that happen.
But you guys have traveled and performed in other places. You guys were in
We've
Brooklyn
played
a couple years ago, and
we've played in New York. We have plans to play in DC this year too, which
oh yeah,
didn't really, travel is a little tricky right now with COVID and generating the energy for somebody to go to an event, is tricky right now.
it's more than just booking the venue.
I think people want to get out and do things, but things are constantly changing, so it's hard to commit. Or you commit and then the next week you feel a bit of uncertainty about it. But you will see about a tour. I'm not sure. I would like to see like us doing like a more organic tour, like performing at not necessarily people's homes. Like I remember the sort of the concept aesthetic of like touring locally but at people's house shows and stuff. Kind of
That would be
around
cool.
the area. I think that would be really nice to do. Like sort of intimate type things are more interesting to me.
For sure.
I would say to Greg probably too, but at the same time, like doing, I guess what you would consider more proper venues would also be interesting.
Yeah, I think maybe a mixture of both.
Yeah, both would be great. We haven't really thought about it, but a tour would be awesome. If
One for the check and one for the soul.
I don't know what that means, but as long as people, if people are interested in like having us, man, I know a lot of the venues and stuff in the area have been having bands again, and I think before COVID, like we wanted to play those places, but just didn't have the connections or the sort of the connections really to make it happen. So we'd be happy to play really anywhere at this point.
It's an interesting type of,
especially more locally. In the areas that we can find some of our people in the sense of like just people who are interested in hearing live music nowadays and hearing what artists are working on. So ideally, like
Basically, he's saying not Martinez,
yeah.
like some doper places maybe.
So like Benicia Vallejo.
They're trying to get out East Bay, like Oakland.
No,
Berkeley,
100%. Yeah, I mean,
San Francisco.
The talent you guys have, it's almost like I feel bad being like listening here and knowing that your guys' music should be all over the fucking country.
Nah, don't feel bad. I mean, look, like ultimately we're okay with who's listening and where we're at. We have this I have this idea of like people who are like me, or like Greg, who are like just as excited. But to be fair, like we didn't necessarily expect your response to the album, like as we played it just earlier. It was quite positive. It was like, okay,
Yeah, for sure.
It's almost like y'all could have just listened to it like how you sort of like know us,
Yeah.
But the way you responded to it being anything at all was kind of quite worth it. So it's almost like it's not like necessarily where we are, like Martinez or Oakland. It's just like where those people necessarily are. I don't know where they are, but we just want to like play the shit and people are like, oh, like motherfuckers is working on stuff that's good and it ought to be heard, and so, but the assumption is that Oakland,
they ain't in Martinez.
they
That's
ain't
what we're
Martinez.
saying.
Fucking suck my asshole. Honestly, like fuck it. People in Martinez, like these people we've been like playing around like at Barrelista. So we shout out to Arash. Like
Barrelista's cool. The show's cool. When we go, it's fun. Like it's a good
fucking
show.
Barrelista's dope. All right,
80%,
shout out Barrelista real quick. Barrelista Martinez, California. Excellent coffee, excellent drinks. Arash is the owner there. Excellent staff. We love Barrelista. All them fucking whack ass people who are like surrounded by him who I don't give a fuck. I don't really even know Arash like that. I just know him like kind of more recently. But he's been kind to us. He's been letting us do our thing. And from what we hear and from what we've experienced, like all the bars and like the establishments for the most part around us, like some of them are cool. Like a Firehouse has been really cool to us too.
Nice.
Like shout out to Sal, but like you know, some of the other bars, like they've been like hella whack and hella rude and like very unwelcoming to us for whatever reason. Like we're great musicians. We don't have to fucking prove nothing to nobody, you know. Like we do our thing. We come out there. We respect volume. We respect everybody's. We got our aesthetic. We do our thing. But we've been like hated on kind of. Yeah. So for whatever reason, I think it's just because we play like solid, you know. We play solid. We play loud. We're consistent. It is what it is.
You're hitting on because they don't understand.
But the thing, so here's the funny thing though, like, because some of the other establishments, they be playing like top 40, but like hip hop, R&B, and we'll be doing covers of shit and be playing like
better than that,
but also in the same area. Like if you knew about the songs that we're playing, or no, excuse me, if you're playing the songs that you're playing,
you know what we're doing.
You know what we're playing, and like we're playing it well too. So
fuck it. I'm gonna say like fuck that too, because like. Well, not fuck what you said, but like fuck all this shit, because like ultimately it's just about like live music. It's all good. Like if everybody's respecting volume, it should be good and everyone should enjoy themselves. But I honestly think it's because we pull up in a fucking Tesla Model X. We pull up like we care about what we wear when we perform. We care about aesthetic. We care about, you know, the experience of when people perform. We don't go there and just play some bullshit, just cover songs and try to get paid.
Yeah. True.
You know, our shit is like art shit, you know?
Yeah. Well, and Benicia, Martinez, Vallejo, Crockett, all of these cities were biker cities. These cities had nothing before the refineries got here.
Exactly.
And if the refineries hadn't started putting money into those towns, they wouldn't have kicked the fucking bikers out and brought in all the immigrants to give us good school districts for 10 years. Like, that's really what it comes down to. Places like Martinez still have those people.
Yeah.
Shout out to Faded Gold Vintage, Rachel at Faded Gold Vintage, and Arash at Barrelista. The thing about Martinez is like
it's changing.
Know, it has been whatever it has been. I don't know. I'm new here and I get that. I come in there with whatever I'm fucking wearing, whatever I'm playing. And it's all good. Like I'm not trying to cause any conflict or anything, but we have good intentions. So we just want to play music. It's good. It's obviously good. We don't need anyone to fucking,
of course,
you know, tell us that it's good. But we just do what we do. And just shout out to the people who want to just, or who are like us and want to just bring some culture, honestly, to a place that ought to fucking have some, you know, because it's just like whatever culture they had is like,
it's different, and they're trying to change it. No, it's just different. I'm not trying to defend them or you know exile you guys.
Right.
But I'm saying is like it's just different. And they're at a time where every city in the Bay Area and every city in California is trying to like progress and become modern, and they're not able to do it. Every time people in our generation who come around with what's happening and what's changing, they resist it because it's not what they want. Yeah. So every city is against every single time we try to change things and make things modern and make it real.
Yeah, it's a little bit of that. All right, but like to be fair, like we're not doing that. You know what I'm saying? We're just playing music.
Yeah.
No, but you're part of it. Not to defend them too much, but you're part of a new thing that they don't want it. The good old homeboys who used to like raise cattle in Benicia and ride motorcycles in Martinez, like they don't want that shit because they don't know. Yeah. But in 10 years they're gonna be gone fucking anyway. So let's just keep it going, dude. Yeah. Fuck that. This is an art-centric area.
It's like the lady that fucking came up to me while we.
There was a lady while Greg was performing.
And, while he was performing?
Yeah.
It's normal. Like people come up to you sometimes and talk to you. But he was performing, and she came up to him. It was like asking to like request a song, which is fine, right? It's fine. Like
if that's what you do.
Hold on. Like in the grand scheme of things, it's fine. It's almost like a standard of being a performer.
Sure. If that's
like you gotta learn how to know. You gotta know how. Just like a comedian's got to deal with heckler. Like almost you gotta know that that's just part of the gig.
Sure.
So
you have to play
that was level
once.
1. She was just asking blah blah blah, and Greg is like playing
while I'm playing.
While he's playing, it's fine, right? And like shout out to Firehouse, but like some of their waiters be asking us what we want to eat while we're playing.
That's so true, bro. We'd be in the middle of the set, and they come to me like, "What do you want for your dinner?"
Like,
I'm like what?
Like anyway, so she was asking.
Last time.
Yeah, she was asking Greg like, "Can you play whatever song?" And like Greg's trying to play the part and shit. You know, our shit's sometimes kind of intricate, so he's got to focus.
It was we were playing Ocean Mountain, which is the one where it's
you
the
gotta
loop.
hear the loop.
So I gotta be listening to the fucking amp the whole time. And yeah, this lady comes up, and well, I heard a couple of things. Like one, I heard money, and then I heard requests. But like I was so stuck on the fact she said money, and I was looking at her tip jar. And I was like, wait, she's asking for money? Is this like a homeless person? Well, and like, let me rewind too, because it started with someone like right on my shoulder, and I thought,
And it's COVID, bro. Like,
yeah, and
back up.
straight up, and I thought it was I thought it was Davey. I thought it was Davey Towers, right?
Our neighbor.
Because he was like around the area with his dog, and I was like, "What the fuck is Davey doing? Like hella close to me?" And like I'm like, I turn over, I was
Hold
like,
on, I can't let
this-
that slide. Hold on. Davey's like this young white
Yeah.
guy who's our neighbor. And she was like some old ass white trash lady. He
Not
just
Davey
somehow
at
thought it
all.
was Davey. All right, but
yeah.
anyway,
So mind you, like I'm like, damn, it's probably Davey because I was like, he was like kind of around me, and I start turning, and I was, that is not Davey, and so that's when I start hearing the money request, blah blah blah, whatever money, and then while I'm playing, I'm like, you need to get the fuck away from me. And then I was like, you need to get the fuck away from me, like hella
Nah,
loud.
hold on. All right, hold on. So she's requesting a song and shit, and I'm playing the song too, and I'm singing the song too. I'm just like, oh, something's going on, right? And then, yeah, Greg says what he says. He's like, get the fuck away from me now. Or some shit like that. I was like, whatever. I let him, like, I felt like he can handle it, so I was like, whatever. But anyway, long story short, like, basically, she felt hella disrespected and went, like, grabbed her husband. Her husband came. He was all like,
Well, no, because it was after, right? That was afterwards, because when the song ended, I got up on the mic and I was like, to whoever that was, I'm sorry, but what the fuck? That's what I said. I was like, I'm sorry, because I was like, you need to get the fuck away from me. And then I was
Yeah,
like,
and
but what the fuck? And
these-
then they came like,
these are, like, the customers of the other establishments, too.
yeah.
Just be like, hella drunk people were like, they're just not used to the kind of, I feel like, I mean, I could be
Interaction.
wrong, but like, I feel like they're not used to like whatever the fuck it is we're bringing, which is just normal. Like, we just set up and play. I don't understand why it's this controversial thing, but it feels like it. And we get this sort of, I'm mind reading a bit, but we've definitely heard from like our people that, people are just like hating or whatever. And so she was just like one of these people who just kind of instigated the already sort of tense experience of playing there and just trying to express ourselves as musicians and play our record. I mean, we have our people who like coming and seeing us. But anyways, the most important part of the story
Is that Greg punched a woman?
is like this lady was like really upset. Her husband came. We had to like have a couple of our homies come in and just be like, yo, like, it's all good.
I was about to fucking push.
Like, it's all
push an old
good.
man.
Like, chill out, and it just turned into like this big thing. And like the lady was like hella pissed, and she just like drove by with her husband like when they finally left, and she was just like, fuck you guys, blah blah blah. Yeah. And then like I was just like, damn, like what the fuck is going on, right? And Greg was like behind me, who was like, suck my asshole. He was like, suck my asshole, bitch. And like,
That's punk rock as shit, dude. I fucking
Dude.
love it. I fucking
yeah,
love it.
and like, that's honestly like the only way I can really explain it. It's like when we play in Martinez or when we play anywhere, like we really know like that what we do musically is beautiful. We have our doubts as musicians. We always want to be like greater and like create great music. But like what we know is like what we do is fucking dope.
Of course.
And so when we get like this weird response to it, it's confusing to us. And when it's like aggressive, I take it as racism, to be honest, personally, because as a brown person, I'm just like,
For sure.
what else could be the problem? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
we're playing good music. We respect volume. We've been actually courteous in
Yep.
our aesthetic in the
It's
sense
our
that we're not
music.
doing
We're
anything.
not, we're not biting off anything. Yeah, I don't see.
We're just playing music, in this new town.
But that being said, I know my dad was a musician when he was growing up, and there were some towns in the South where they were behind a cage because people were throwing bottles and shit just because that's what they did every single fucking night. People just got rowdy and ruined shit.
Like
Oh,
in
yeah.
Roadhouse.
Like in Roadhouse.
Nice, okay.
There's a lot of bars who like the bar respects the musician, but the people don't. But how else are you gonna get the fucking people in? And it's like, I don't think Martinez is one of those places.
Yo.
I don't think like,
I'm gonna keep it real. Like I think like one of the things is like for me personally and Greg too, definitely I can speak for you on this. It's like hip hop is such a big part of like our love for music. Mm-hmm. No doubt. Like we listen to so much hip hop music.
I love Gwen Stefani.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna pretend you didn't say that. So like the Martinez people for the most part they don't get hip hop.
No,
And when you listen to our record, it's not a hip hop record.
nope.
But if you know hip hop, our record is influenced by it.
For sure.
I would say.
For sure.
It's hard for me to say for sure, but I
No,
would
if
bet
you
on
know,
it because
if you know hip hop, you
I
you
bet
would
on it
recognize.
because we love hip hop so much. We made a rock R&B album, but I was just trying to simplify like everything we're talking about so we can move on, to be honest. But like ultimately, it's the people of Martinez or the people of anywhere that like we were talking about moguls last time. Like it's not about moguls really. It's just about like understanding what's happening sonically, what's happening musically. Thank you. Yeah, I can get that. Yeah, what's happening musically is very simple.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's just a guitar and drums.
Your music is so palatable. There's no reason for people not to like it. Like, even if you don't understand guitar and drums, like, you should be able to like the music that you guys put out because it's legitimately talented, it's legitimately good, and
Thank
it's
you, man.
actually
I'll
artistic.
say like earlier, I wanted to also say this about like just paying my respects to the White Stripes, and just make just a particular emphasis on that because with praise, I always feel a little bit of discomfort, uncertainty in particular when it comes to like what we're able to do and what we do, because there's like what we do and then it's dope. I really like what I hear back on the recording, but then I have my insecurities with what I was able to create after that. But then ultimately, when it is considered dope by, for example, you guys today, like you considered it dope, I have to say like it's not me. I have to, you know what I'm saying?
What's not you?
The influence and I have to just show recognition for those
I see what
artists
you're saying.
Yeah.
who fucking
Gotcha.
influenced and inspired the aesthetic of what we do. And
But you're the one who brings it together. You're the one who
we
brings
did
it to
what we
us.
did. Yeah, we did what we did. That's
You're-
fine.
You're the ones who brought it to people who
I
like
think-
us who can enjoy it.
No matter how original music can be, as a creator, as an artist, we've developed
7 notes.
our own artistry because we looked up to those that did this thing we've always wanted to do forever, and like we take it and we make it our own, right? We took blue, we took green, and we made yellow, right? You know, it
We
doesn't
took blue and yellow and made green.
exactly. What the fuck did I say?
You said you took blue and green and made yellow.
Yes, exactly that. But anyway, you guys definitely made it your own, and like it's
Well, like I'd like to get compared to the White Stripes, but I wouldn't like to get compared to the Black Keys, for example, because like Greg's like, oh shit, what was he gonna say? But like, you know, like for example, I really respect. I have to pay homage to like the White Stripes. I have to. Like it'd be hella whack if I didn't, to be honest, because like so much of my personal. All right, but like the White Stripes.
but
Hold
so-
on. The White Stripes, the White Stripes though, but like they're hella white. Okay.
Yeah, Seven Nation
like,
Army is a pretty.
I will say though, like, hold on, Seven Nation Army is a whole nother topic though, because Seven Nation Army is like, it's the only song that like they're chanting in soccer stadiums, like an anthem.
Yeah,
Okay, so all due respect to
British
it's like
soccer
God though, but then
thumbs,
it's like
yeah.
all right, but Seven Nation Army, you know what I'm saying, is dope. But White Stripes in terms of the aesthetic of like drum. Earlier you said to talk about equality, like in terms of the sound.
yes,
White Stripes for sure, like Meg White, like black tap, black, and then just gang, 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 and just having that
Everything at 10.
kick snare, like I just gotta pay respects to that. But
But you're paying respects by creating the music like that, and you're introducing it to people like me.
Yeah.
Introducing it to people like I was gonna say
Exactly.
Christian, but he's far more advanced in music than I am.
anybody else musically, Jimi Hendrix or
Yes.
Kravitz, whatever, like it's sort of on this like equal scale.
Sure.
White Stripes just deserves a particular type of respect I wanted to show real quick. I'm not really sure what the reason was for it, but I felt like I needed to say that. But
well, you're just paying homage to those that influenced this album.
yeah.
Other than you
But
two,
I think we
obviously,
do something like
directly.
that's a little. Sorry, Christian. I think we do something that's a little bit better, which is like we got more soul. I think You know what I'm saying? Like
you guys have your own flavor of
it's
it.
a little soulful.
Yeah, you guys are bringing the essence of it, but doing it your own way. I mean, that's exactly how me and Christian started doing our podcast. Not to, make it about us, but you have to learn from the people that you want to be to create what you want. I mean, and you're not, I don't think you're diminishing it or taking away focus from them if you're introducing people to the opportunity to hear the things that you hear. I mean, I listen to this album, I hear 5 or 6 different things that mean so much to me in my past. For example, when one of the songs I said reminds me of Lenny Kravitz, and you said immediately like, oh, well, I was going for like a Red Hot Chili Peppers thing. I'm like, yeah, it's both of those things. It's all of those things. It's not the journey, it's the vacation. You know what I mean? It's like once we get there, we can enjoy the song. But I mean, music is such an incredibly, it's such a universal key for so many people. And
right.
I think what you guys have is such a specific key, yet it fits in every lock. So many different types of locks. It's unlocking parts of my brain that I haven't experienced or felt. It's giving me emotions and things that I haven't thought about.
I think it's
when
because
it comes to music.
I think it's because we have. Sorry, it's just like we have the rock element, but then there's like a certain pop melodicness to the songs that.
And an overall, for me, it's an artistic view of music that you don't get on the radio. You don't get an artistic point of view on the radio. You don't get an artistic point of view if you're somebody like me who listens to just Johnny Cash and early 90s rap. You don't get that kind of artistic choice that you have in your music.
Christian?
What I'm thinking is that this is so... You guys created this product that is incredibly palatable and is so listenable with Easter eggs for those that are wizards and not muggles. They're Easter eggs. That's why Marvel movies are so fucking dope, because you could be an ignoramus child that just like Spider-Man, Iron Man, and it's beautiful and it's so put together beautifully, and it's still such a good movie, because if you read the comics, if you are into the lore, if you are into the superheroes, and that's an analogy. That's an analogy for people that know music, right? To a deeper level, you're gonna notice the things in the back. You're gonna notice. So there's a track on there. I don't remember the name of it because we listened to it all at once.
Yeah, how'd it go though? It was like
beautiful. It was the one where Greg's drumming and he hits. Is it the snare like
Wait.
Is weight? Yeah.
Is it like
That shit's
on
fucked
E?
up, huh?
Like 1E or I don't know. It's so you can't
It's the
bob
Frank
your head
Sinatra
to it
singing.
naturally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, can
That's
we
just
talk
fucked
about
up.
that beat real quick?
Yeah, how dope
Let's talk
it
about
is.
that beat. So, all right, so
Yeah.
that beat is
That beat's fucked up.
from our
That's what
song
it
called
is.
Wait,
It's fucked up. Yeah.
and the,
Yes, please. Thanks, man.
so like the thing about this beat is it's actually like I don't want to say Afghan beat because I don't think that's necessarily true,
Yeah.
but no, it's all good. You tell me what you think, what the beat is on. One and two and three and four, right?
Is it on the E?
It's the E.
Yeah.
Yeah, boy.
So-
And for you listeners out there that don't know what the fuck I mean by saying E, when you subdivide counts. So like if a song is in 4/4, 1, 2, 3, 4, let's subdivide into eighth notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4.
So where
Let's
is
subdivide
it?
further. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E. And that's what we mean by the E.
Those are eighth notes, aren't they?
Those are 16th notes.
God damn it.
One E and the two E and the three and the
Well, it's
four
like
and.
1E. 1E. 1E and a 2E and a
3E and a 4E and
Okay,
a 1E.
so
and a
this
3E.
beat though, all right, because when we wrote this shit, this beat is based on like an Afghan beat.
Yeah.
Okay,
Real quick, can I say I'm in the fucking pocket right now. I'm so my endorphins are just
all right, but
I can
let's
see your
do
penis
this.
from here.
I'm in the fucking
Let's do this real quick.
and I'm
Hold on.
Filipino.
All right, let's do this real quick. So, because that's the thing, we never really talked about this. This beat is like, tell me, it's 1E and the 2E and the 3E and the 4E and the... Huh? Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's how I hear a lot of drama.
Okay.
so good.
All right, but then listen to this beat though, for example.
Solid comedic timing, horrible musician timing, horrible partner timing, but great comedic timing. Great comedic timing. Incredible. Hey guys, one of us is only comedian here, and that was good comedic
No,
timing.
man. All right. Okay. 1,
Two,
1, 2, 2, 2, 3. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. All right, but how about this? Ready? How about that? Go ahead. That's the beat.
It sounds like a tap dancing rhythm.
Love it.
That's
Yeah.
like an Afghan, like almost like a. Honestly, it's not just what I'm about to say it is, but it's like an Afghan wedding dance pattern.
It'd be like what the tabla would be doing.
It's the same thing. It's almost the same, right? Or it's not the same.
Nah, mine's doper, but yeah.
But anyways, like that shit is inspired by that. That's
Yeah.
like it happens a few times in the record. There's another place where you do it too. I forget what song
It's like
it
the
is on.
second verse. Oh no,
There's
different
another song. Yeah. It's
yeah.
So it's on Wait.
Fully Known.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, it's probably hard for anyone to understand what just happened.
No, that was
What the
fucking awesome.
fuck?
I got it. Can I try to relate it to how, as best as I know?
Yeah.
It reminds me of the Mexican hat dance. It's just that idea of like it's the offbeat that makes everybody happy. It's the unconventionalism of the regular beat that we all have in our heart that just makes us feel excited. And this is somebody who doesn't understand music at all. And I've only watched that Netflix Explained thing on music. That's my basic of music theory.
You fucking know it, dude.
So
You got a
when songs go,
PhD.
"Duh, duh, duh," they're sad, and when they go duh, 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 they're
Yeah,
happy.
yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
musical theory, isn't it? That's
Yo, you just did the whisper song. Da, da, da. Dun, dun, dun.
Hey, little mama, let me whisper in your ear. And then, man, now whisper in your ear. Hey, little mama, let me whisper in your ear.
Let me whisper in your ear.
But the thing, dude, music. I was a little nervous
Music
for
sucks.
today because like since we had done 2 episodes prior and we'd like talked so much about music, I was like, what else can we talk about music about? And there's still so much.
Oh yeah.
It's because what's so cool about like the rhythm of your guys' shit is that there is, like we said before, it's palatable. The normal person can listen to it, but for people that know music, there is still that level of unpredictability, right?
Yeah.
There's still a game. I think that's what like jazz musicians like, or like just musicians in general, is just like, how can I figure this out?
Yeah, for sure.
Having gone to like school and doing drumline with you, something that we would do just for fun is try to like figure out licks, or I'd watch you and Alan try to figure out like snare licks and like what it meant, or like how because all rhythm it's numbers, and trying to figure out the numbers of it and like the puzzle pieces of it, like us figuring out like where's the E. Well, this is
That's gonna be the thumbnail, by the way.
never. Does that hurt your face? Does that hurt your face?
Your shit's gonna get stuck when you do that.
If it gets stuck like that?
What a great ring.
Yeah. So while he's thinking of that, what I was gonna say.
It's hard to focus. Listeners, if you guys are listening in the car, you just hop on YouTube. I would have like zoomed in on Sule's face right now.
Go to this timestamp.
But yeah,
Only available on Patreon.
You never gonna see that face again.
Greg, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, like, we were talking about how it's like the album is so palatable, right? Like,
Yeah, man.
anybody can listen to it, and I think it's well, I think it's like we hit different ends of the musical spectrum, right? We talk about
Yeah.
like rock and R&B and
Yes.
like good vocals and good drumming, but like to what everybody else was talking about earlier.
What's happening? Hang on. What's
is
happening here?
dude?
Catch this mic.
What?
Yeah, basically the drums on this album are the best part. Everything else is shit.
Hey, fuck you, bro.
All about the drums is what I was trying to say.
It's not true.
Right before you guys release the track,
Equal.
Greg's gonna sneak into the master files and just mute all of your tracks. Yo, this is a crazy
Should be
drum
tight.
solo. This 3-minute drum solo.
We call it
Notice how he's on the E's and not the ones?
You got some questions?
Yeah, is Ringo Starr your favorite drummer?
No.
No? What about Wild and Out? Nick Cannon.
Nick Cannon.
Drumline is good, but that's it. End of topic.
Yeah. Yeah, we could just say end of topic.
Yeah.
Drumline, very influential movie, and
And then rewatching it upon knowing how to play the drums, it's like this. Why did this get me
let's
into
just
it?
pause for a moment. Let me give. Do I have time to give a little story here?
Keep going. Keep going. We're good. We're good.
We're not
so
cutting
like
this out.
Drumline, super influential movie in like
Our
my
lives.
musicianship.
For everybody.
Yeah. So like, just to give some context, before I moved back to the Bay, born and raised Oakland, California, moved around the Bay Area, moved up to Washington State for a little bit, and this is where I was like kind of continuing my my musical journey. I was in like the band in middle school and all of that. And so Drumline, big influence on me, right? We didn't have Drumline at the middle school that I went to. But fast forward, I ended up moving back to the Bay and ended up going to Benicia where they have a Drumline. And
A killer drumline.
oh yeah,
Yep.
Yeah,
a
man.
fucking killer Drumline. And so like keep in mind, my whole notion of Drumline was this fucking movie with Nick Cannon. This was everything that I knew to be Drumline. And I walk into this school and like meet all these people, and I become a part of the Benicia High School Drumline, which is like, if you talk about the movie Drumline and then like the way things were ran back then, like these were this was like night and day differences, and like how serious Benicia was at just like teaching us. I mean, you even know because you went to the middle school, bro. Like,
I just remember in the past, our Benicia High School was at the Rose Parade. Our Benicia High School performed and won multiple awards all over the place. They
Yeah.
made more money than the football team for a solid 4 years straight.
Yeah.
And that's not something most high schools can call for. I mean,
Yeah, man.
our band was legit. Our arts
Back-
department,
yeah.
it was legit.
back in the day, like I mean, 05, I mean even like 2000s till like 2010,
04 to 10, 11.
straight up.
Yeah,
That
10, 11.
like 10, 11 is when it started like kind of fizzling out a little bit.
Let's
but-
say 11. We graduated 11.
Yeah, 12 is what fucked it up.
Yeah. Sorry, anybody in 12, but like 11.
not.
11. Just to give some context, like a little bragging rights, we were like undefeated in most of our shit with the band. So
And you guys weren't in no like D3 school
Nah,
of bands. You guys
we
were
were-
in the band.
we were
school.
playing, like,
people went to the
college-
Blue Devils. People went to like
Yeah.
you guys had performers and stuff. Perform with the Warriors, the 49ers. You guys
Yep.
have had people like
well, we were getting taught by those people too. That's the thing, man. Like we were getting taught by the Blue
got
Devils.
to go to
people.
Disneyland and shit. Like
Yeah, we went to Hawaii.
Yeah.
We went to Florida. There was like a whole bunch of shit. But I guess my point is everything that I knew about Drumline was the movie Drumline with Nick Cannon, and then I was introduced to this like
Real
whole
Drumline.
other world that is just like makes that movie look like shit. But I think just the appreciation that I have for what it gave me, and like even the influence, man. Like we've talked about that. Just the influence that it had carries on
For sure.
as like silly of a movie as it
For
is,
sure.
like fucking influential as fuck.
kids aren't watching movies that are actual like inspirational movies. We're watching movies that are kind of silly, and then we're like, I think I want to be a cop now. And then you're just like, yeah, and that guy grows up to be like the head of the FBI. So I totally get it, man. I mean, watching that Drumline movie is one of the same reasons why I wanted to drum, and watching Ringo in the Beatles' Help movie is one of the reasons why I wanted to wear rings and play the drums. Like it's just it's very funny how like such simple things become so big in our lives, and then we grow up and realize that they weren't quite right, yet we're not going to not like those things because they're still the things that got us into it. It's still one of those things. I mean, you ever watch the Nick when he auditions for that Drumline? You ever watch that scene?
I watched every scene, bro.
That scene is
know
like he's
every
playing,
fucking
he's
scene.
doing like a warm up, and they have dubbed it over to like some of the most
Can you imagine on set? They're just like, and like he's egotistical.
8 in a row, and then 8 in a
Just like,
row.
Nick, you're just you're getting it off, man. Like, and he's just like, fuck you, man. I'm the fucking biggest dick up in this.
And then the
fucking
producer
thing.
just like whispers in the director's ear. He's like, "Hey, we can dub this later. Nobody's gonna know."
I
And
will.
he's like,
I will say, like, spoiler alert. End of the movie. Morris Brown should have won. Just saying.
"Oh."
Just saying. They were playing harder stuff. They,
They were
playing
badass.
flavorful music, and AT&T was just doing all the flashy shit. But Morris Brown.
Yeah.
Yeah, they came correct, man. They was playing some shit.
I'm a Verizon man myself, so I'm right there with you.
I say if you want to instill any work ethic within you, real Drumline is where it's at.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's beautiful that
It was harder than my
Drumline-
football. It was harder than my football experience.
Exactly, and you did middle school Drumline. Imagine high school Drumline and marching band.
That's the reason why I quit.
With
That's the reason I quit.
I'm so glad that I was able to do it because the reason I did like Drumline was because
Your friends were in it.
well, yeah, that and I was told that by Alan. So in freshman year,
Producer Alan?
yes, by producer Alan.
Executive
Boo?
producer Alan Boo.
Yes,
Boo?
I was told that. Hey, dude, if you join Winter Guard Drumline, you'll lose weight because there's a lot of moving around.
Wow.
There was a lot of moving around.
I
It is, it
gained
is.
weight, dude. I got bigger.
It's because all the competitions only have fair food. They're all like nachos and fucking
Yeah.
candy and soda and shit.
All the food went down to my calves and my stomach, so now I just like huge calves
and your chin.
and like and my second chin. And
I'm working on that right now myself.
I'll edit it in post. Zoom in,
You
zoom
bitch.
in.
You bitch.
But it definitely like marching band instills some work ethic and discipline in you, and that's what I'm grateful
Discipline.
with. And
A lot.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it comes also with like how serious
You take it.
it's taken. Yeah, but
Yeah.
also like just thinking of Benicia in that time, like that was thinking of it now. I don't know if some of the shit that happened would fly nowadays. I mean, maybe it would. It was more petty than anything, but I think we all took it seriously at the end of the day, and
Yeah, of
we
course.
respected like the vision and what
The artistic
Yeah,
view.
yeah, what we were going for. Like one of the things I think I've told you about this, how we would like ride in silence to
yeah. Oh fuck.
to our competitions. Yeah, so like one of the I don't know if you knew about this, Alex. Like one of the things we had to have to do is ride in silence to our competition. So if we were, 5:30 a.m. call time on the bus by 6, driving however long, like we would have to ride in silence the whole time for the ride
Just to like get in the feeling,
focus.
to get in the moment.
Yeah, it was all about like just focus on the moment. Like
That seems a bit, for me, we only rode the bus in silence when we lost football games. We weren't allowed to listen to music or talk or any of that shit because we lost. And the team that I was on lost all but 2 games. So we spent a lot of bus rides in silence, that's for sure.
So that was so cool. The fact that on top of all of that, even though the band itself kind of like instilled like, hey, be serious, like have this level of discipline before we go into competition. Something I'm grateful for is that I had a group of friends like
That also
like
understood it.
you and Alan, right? That we kept each other in check. Like if I was fucking around, they for sure said like, they wouldn't laugh at my jokes. The least funny I've ever been was like on the way to a band competition because jokes don't fly.
Well, I saw you do a stand-up set once, and I think that might be the least.
And I saw you do a stand-up set too. And I think I got more laughs than him.
I bomb every time I've been up on by myself. I
aren't
can't
we
do
supposed
anything
to do
without
some
Christian.
improv shit?
Oh.
I thought Sule didn't want to do some improv. Oh, he just said no. He did.
No.
He gave me the finger like this.
I just want to say something about what you're saying about how, you have this level of...
I'm gonna rip my ear off trying to signal y'all.
You have this level of understanding of
It's like
professionalism
one of my
that
biggest
came...
embarrassments is doing improv with y'all on this fucking show.
Why? That was...
Shit was
Fuck it,
hella
we're gonna
whack.
do it again later on. Now that you,
Shit was hella whack.
it's not.
We'll do it live.
Look,
Fuck it.
I just want to say this one thing. Look, the way that we treated arts in our high school particularly was not how I think traditional high schools do, whether it was band or the drama department that I was in or the dance department that Jules was in. It doesn't matter. We all took that on such a high level of seriousness. When we all performed shows, that's the reason why we won. I mean, my drama department won Artie Awards and the dance department won Dance Awards, and you guys won all of your top gold medal awards on all of those things, whether it was Winter Guard or marching. There's a reason why we took it so seriously. It's because we understood what we were doing had some sort of gravitas to it. And it's just this idea of we believe in what we're doing. We believe in the art that we're providing. And whether it's silly musicals or a drumline or twirling a baton, it's going to be good in the moment. It's going to be good when you win. It's just one of those things where like people who don't understand are never going to understand. So we're not doing it for them.
Yeah.
We're doing it for the people who get it, for the
Yeah.
artistic people who understand things.
Yeah.
I think what's really important, what I think a lot of people lack after high school, is that you end up not finding a group or like where you're supposed to fit in. in high school, a lot of us like were part of stuff in like band and in the arts, and like you have the sense of camaraderie. You have your homies and like all these people, and like one similar goal as a group to look forward to complete and execute in a almost perfectly. When you get into like community college, if that, or when you just like go into your late 20s, it's up to you. Everything's your decision. You don't have to join a group, and so no one's holding you accountable. And so like that's what I think this podcast has done for me. The fact that we have like an expectation every single Tuesday and Thursday, and we got to get it through. We got to put out some quality. We got to make some people laugh if they're having a shitty day. And to bring it back to you guys, like I'm sure making music with another person, you guys hold each other accountable. You guys live with each other. You guys have probably become brothers to this extent. You guys will say, hey, get your shit together if your shit's not together. Or have you guys like run into like moments like that?
Yeah, like recently we had just a jam after not jamming for a while, and it's like, what are we doing here? Like, you got some drum beats, what are we doing? You know?
Yeah.
So it's like we're gonna keep this thing going. What are we gonna do? We're gonna write music. We're gonna write new music. We're gonna keep, we're gonna make new records. If we want to do any of that stuff, we got to get together and play. We got to practice. We got to like work on our own individual chops. For Greg, that's different. For Greg, that's like fucking sticking around. For me, it's like every time I feel it in my heart to play or something. And
It's finding new combinations.
A couple songs come out. Yeah. We have our processes and. But what was your question? Like, I don't understand what your question was.
No, I think what Christian was trying to say is like, one of the things that me and Christian find is sometimes between the two of us, we have such staunch ideas and such good ideas in our own brain of how we want things to go. And then we bring them to the other person and sometimes it doesn't quite connect.
Oh yeah, we have that. Like Greg and I, we haven't really talked.
Like, I fucking hate that song, bro. That song's whack.
Oh really? Yeah, no, I was gonna say
or like for the longest time there was that one beat where you'd be like, yeah, man, like.
Which one was it?
I don't know, but it's one that you made. Like,
there was one that it was like there's
it.
certain things that he's just not feeling, and like,
I was like, nah.
it's hard to accept sometimes. But we just keep it moving. Like I'm at a point now where I'm open to anything.
Do you guys talk about it and say, hey, look, I know I didn't like it. I know you think there's something here. How do we find the middle ground?
Yeah, if it's important enough for me, I'll have to have that convo with him because it's like, come on, bro. Like I'm the way I am about it. Sometimes it's hard to be confident because. You don't want to hurt nobody's feelings. You don't want to make somebody do something they don't want to do.
But you're passionate about what you're doing.
Yeah, like if I hear something, like a lot of the shit that you guys heard on the album is stuff that I really had to like push through, Greg. I feel like, just play that beat on this song. I promise.
Well, some of the best episodes we've ever had are episodes that Christian loves and I don't. And we.
I mean, I really appreciate that you guys are trying to like make it like common ground, like trying to make an analogy, but I really don't feel like the same thing.
We'll cut that part out. We'll cut that out so nobody hears that shit.
I really don't. I mean, like, I know if it's like certain things I feel like, no, I'm just playing with you. I'm sure there's a lot of similarities. I just wanted to.
I mean, we've talked about like in the past episodes, we've already talked about the similarities at all.
Yeah, there's similarities. We're both two people. I think it starts with that, and trying to create something and getting through each other's egos and just like. Understand what the vision is in the first place. Like, what are we even trying to do?
Dude.
Is this just to make records? Is just like we're jamming as musicians? We're trying to like build each other's chops? Are we trying to like be friends? Are we just trying to like?
What were you going to say about egos, Christian?
I think there's with egos is such a complicated thing because it's so hard for like anyone, how humble or narcissistic on that spectrum you may be. It's so hard for like any of us to like set that aside to see clearly. We're so fucking drunk with our own egos sometimes that we don't even know.
I don't think me and Greg are as like I was gonna say like a lot of people are, but like our music when we come together, we almost like forced to have to not be that way.
Yeah,
it's just too awkward. Like if I'm trying to be like trying to bring any of that into the situation, I'm either met with like resistance that I have to learn is resistance from Greg that I later have to turn into like a sense of gratitude, like that he was like really willing to go through it or whatever to get to where we were get to where we end up getting, which ultimately is dope because we're both dope people. Like same with him, like he'll make a suggestion, it's like resistance, and then it turns into something great. But yeah, it's hard to bring the ego into it for a few reasons. One, because Greg is more of a jazz musician, I think, by nature, just because of his upbringing and the way he was trained as a musician, the way he learned as a musician. So like jazz musicians have a certain sort of persona and identity that they carry, and I'm not saying that's all. I'm not saying that's all Greg is. That's definitely not true. But that part of him is something that humbles me personally in the process of like bringing, our, creative work together,
Bringing
because
the art together.
yeah, because I'm a more of a blues musician, and I have to learn like, oh, there's a certain history and
Well, and
respect for what's been done melodically and stuff, and I got to bring my A game, for lack of better terms.
For
Like I
sure.
really got to just come. I feel like a little pressure to come with something to Greg. At the same time, if we're being kind of open about our feelings as we typically do on this podcast, it's like I also feel like some of the things that I bring to the table may not be particularly dope at first listen to Greg as a jazz musician, but sort of maybe creep in
Yeah, man.
because of their simplicity and maybe lack of that certain aesthetic that he typically looks for.
Well, I found what was really interesting about what Christian just said is, and I missed the other side of it.
Musical aesthetic,
Narcissist, and what was the other side of it?
Just humility.
So between
both.
the two of us, I think I'm an embodiment of narcissism, and Christian is the embodiment of, I don't even know the
Yeah.
word.
Humility.
Humility. I'm sorry. No, I do know the word. I'm just saying, and between the two of us, we disagree and we have some fierce arguments about things. And then at the end of the day, we'll end up seeing the other person's side well past an argument or a disagreement. And between the two of it, we're able to create this level of creation and art that we're both satisfied by. Whether I didn't think it was going to satisfy me in the way that I thought it was, and yet it does, because I'm trusting Christian's artistic point of view. And I would like to think that there's sometimes when Christian just lets me do my artistic point of view and he's satisfied by it in his own way. It's just one of those things where we have to serve each other as best as we can, yet serving ourselves. And then comedy is such a fucking trivial thing. It's like,
Dude, everything that all four of us in here are doing is subjective. It ain't math. Everything is numbers, obviously. There's a science to everything.
Yeah.
But like what we're trying to do, what we're trying to make a living off of, it's all subjective.
it's understanding. I when I hear the word subjective, I don't mean to interrupt you, but when I hear the word subjective, that makes me think of like isolationism. It's subjective. I think of it as this subject and this subject only. What we're able to do and what we're able to prove in this room alone is that you can take 4 people from 4 different rooms, and then we all have a complete understanding in where the artistic vision goes. Like in this room alone, I don't mean to get too hoity-toity with it, but like I'm feeling such a high vibe of like creationism, of just making what it is.
All right, so like I'll say, like we got to deal with like the fact that we're humans and we got to live our own lives and deal with our own emotions. And personally, like I happen to live with Greg, but ultimately, like the time I spend that we sit down, okay, we're gonna play some music or whatever, is time that we got to sort of deal with. Like Greg's like whatever with work and whatever's going on with his life, and same for me. In that moment we meet together, it's like we have to sort
Put that away.
So yeah, set this aside and just like, oh, we love music, right? You remember? Okay, let's do something about it. And then we do, like when we jammed the other day,
Last
you know,
night, yeah. That's what I was
like
about to say.
it's awkward. It's sort of this weird thing that it's like last time we were on the podcast, we might have talked about rehearsals as not awkward, as like we just know how do we do.
Yeah.
This is where we're at right now with just what's going on in the world and what's going on with like our personal lives and how we have to like keep it going. We have to sort of remind ourselves what we'd like to do, and after finishing an album, also there's a certain feeling of like completion, celebration, but also like remorse and like mourning, sort of a departure and release of this thing, moving on to the next thing. There's a lot of emotions around it. Ultimately, my point is that like we, for example, me and Greg, like we're friends, so we live together, and so like honestly, like the music and anything else ultimately is secondary to like our well-being and just making sure that we're happy. Like we have maybe a hard day, we get together and we have to rehearse. That's different than like a day where we're both feeling good and have to rehearse.
That was last night.
Yeah, either one is going to make something. We're going to just continue creating because we've committed to this concept and this idea that we're musicians and we want to create music together, and that we can do it really well together. After this album, for example, we're going to do another record, and then you may do another one after that. And
Next one's gonna be dope.
You better. You guys.
yeah,
better make more
next
albums.
one's going to be a live. We're going to do a live.
Please.
We're going to do a live album, and then we're going to do after that. We're going to do a
Next album's about to be dope.
the album is like sort of after the live album is going to be I think a big transition in terms of our sound and style.
I mean, it's dope that you guys are already thinking ahead.
We think ahead. For
Let's
sure.
just say we already got some ideas in the works.
Wow. I mean, because like this has been your current Ocean Mountain has been in the works for quite a while. I guess I'm actually not surprised if that's been in the works for quite a while that the next project would already be in the back of your minds or like now at the front of your minds, right? Because like,
yeah, it's sort of like a trendy thing right now. I feel like for the bigger hip hop artists, for example, to sort of like promote or imply that they're leaving the rap game or leaving the art, the game of songwriting.
Yeah.
And I would say like for me, for example, like in my personal art sort of journey and story and aesthetic, having a sort of idea of concept of like a last album is not like as, I don't know, unique to me as something just like you just create concepts, names, you create projects, you move on,
Evolution.
Evolution of certain thing like really sticks, for example, then it ought to be kept and not changed. With Duo, like from the beginning, it was something before Greg, honestly, like something with Greg wasn't even in my life, and it's come to this point now, and it will continue to grow, and it's going to be like, like it's going to be this new thing, like where, for example, like our name actually simplifies even more. Like we're going to go to just Duo for like, not this next album, but the one after that. And that album is going to introduce like more electronic and sampling and some of our more like sort of deeper
It's about to get
loves and influences musically so that we can like express ourselves fully and not in this like particular type of
You guys only
style.
have the idea, or do you guys actually have any like songs that are like a little...
I would say like if I can answer for Greg, I would say like Greg has it in him, but doesn't necessarily like have it planned out. But it's just it's definitely.
Let's just say there's like a handful of beats and stuff and loops that I know we can expand on.
Yeah, like we
that-
both make beats and love sampling, and we haven't really incorporated that style of music into our current projects.
Can I share about
yeah.
like what happened with
Go.
me when you were on your trip?
Yeah, go.
So like we play Barrelista, or we have been.
Mhm.
And there was this weekend where Suleiman was out of town. He went to Texas.
Nice.
Shout out Cliff. And so it was
Shout out Cliff, I love you, bro.
it was either skip the show on Saturday or I play solo. So I played solo.
Ooh.
And so what happened was, it was like there was all this preparation. Well, there wasn't even a lot of preparation. It was a lot of just like me back and forth about if I was gonna fucking do it or not. And yeah, right. There's a lot of anxiety around it. So like I think there was like 2 days until the show, and I had the 2 days off, and I was like, all right, I'm just gonna fucking put whatever I can together to play a show by myself, like
For sure.
just drums.
Yeah.
That's
So-
wild. I remember I was texting you about that.
Yeah. So like I went through all the beats that I have, like everything, and I was like, okay, what can I pull from? And I literally ended up taking out like just most of the drums that I made on a bunch of beats, but I also ended up making another like 10 to 15 just loops.
So Greg's got like really excellent sample selection. Like he's got an excellent ear for samples.
Yeah.
Which is an art in itself and a talent in itself. But he's also a percussionist. So like typically somebody's got like good, like me, I got a good ear for samples for sure. Like I'll find some really good samples. But Greg knows how to lay drums on it. Like I can lay whatever drums. They'll be aesthetic. They'll be nice. But he's actually a drummer. There's a certain thing that he's able to do in here. I will say that like as a musician that I have to admit that he's able to turn it into something else. And we both have a love for making beats and producing, I would say, hip-hop influence type music. The idea is like something that someone would rap on.
Yeah.
But
You
with,
come at it from different angles.
but with hip-hop music, like it being pop music now and hip-hop music being so melodic, so much more melodic and not just about like whatever
The
rap
bars,
sort of monotone rap. It's like beautiful. There's so much singing and stuff like Kanye West. It goes without saying. But anyway, I'm gonna let you finish for sure. But like, definitely go ahead. But like, that's
I'm gonna let you finish.
Yeah.
Funny that you
But
just said Kanye.
Beyonce had one of the best albums.
Do you guys want to talk about Donda for a little bit?
Shit. Do you have time?
might as well.
Because we gonna be here for a while.
If we're here, can we touch on it a
We
little bit?
certainly can. I guess I'll just wrap up with that fucking solo show went absolutely incredible. and it was something that
Oh,
I've just thought about for so long.
So dope. That
So how did it go? Can you tell us how the experience went?
It went awesome, man. Like, I was so nervous. Yo, I pulled up to that show and I was about to leave. I was about to like text my girl and Ty and everybody and be like, yo, like, I'm not
It ain't
feeling
happening.
well. Yeah. But I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna fucking do it. Because it was even weird because I didn't talk to Audash either. So I just showed up unannounced and I was like, hey, did you know I was gonna be here? And he was like, no, but if you want to play, and that's
He
yo,
told me
shout
the
out
same.
fucking
Yeah,
Audash.
hell yeah.
I fucking
Yeah.
love that dude because he
Yeah.
literally did not know I was gonna show up, and I
Yo,
was able
shout
to,
out Audash one more time.
that's
Martinez.
the man.
This
California
episode brought to you by
Baralista.
Adash
Yo,
at
check
Bar
him out.
Lista and
I need
Martinez.
you to clip this part out so we can just send him a 30-second link. But yeah, shout out Audash because he just let me fucking set up and play, and
my
I was so
motherfucking
nervous.
homie, bro.
I know, dude. I was so nervous to do it, and I bit the bullet, and man, it was so dope. Ty even rapped. Ty rapped on one of my fucking beats. Like,
That's great.
I would just, it turned in, you know, I would like play a loop. Or
Ty's hella shy. Like, it's been
Yeah.
a while.
Yes.
so shy to rap in public.
Even
And I was gonna say
Straight
in
up.
public, Ty might be one of the most shyest people I've ever met for sure.
So, like, needless to say, it went fucking incredible, and I think it's just like it's like the tip of the iceberg of what's to
Yeah,
come.
some
So,
new shit is
yeah,
coming.
man, it was really like.
Are you about to
Uncovering.
announce a solo act, Greg?
Nah.
No. I'm sorry. I
What
didn't
y'all
mean that.
hearing right now is
Solo
like
EXP.
y'all are hearing like the hieroglyphics. You know what I'm saying of like Duo ESP. Like
Yeah.
it's just the hieroglyphics, like the
Oh,
sort of
I
basic.
like that.
I
Yeah,
love
for
it.
real. I mean, I really
I love
mean
it.
that. Like it's like the basic structure of
What
sort
makes
of-
you you?
what makes me me, and then like Greg is like kind of along for the ride. Because realistically, I really don't think.
That's how I feel about Christian. He's along for the ride.
Nah,
Fuck no. No.
along for the ride in the
Alex
sense of
along for the
like
ride.
musically,
Alex
the
along.
influences are so strong for me that I'm almost like I feel like convincing you more than I am like that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Like in terms of like if I for example this analogy I'm using as this being like sort of hieroglyphics, like it's the core. It's like it's not Greg's core necessarily. I feel like rock, classic rock, and sort of the R&B, simple blues aesthetic isn't necessarily Greg's core, right? Would you say that's agreeable?
Yeah, I'd agree.
Yeah, but that's like what's also dope about what we're doing is like he's just like, let's do this shit, you know. And then like, but I'm also simultaneously learning sort of what Greg's core is, you know, like, and it happens to be like, you know, compatible, like because it's particularly drum oriented, which is like what I was telling you earlier is
Sure.
like something I really love. It's second to my guitar playing.
Isn't it beautiful?
Percussion.
Like what makes us us? Like I was asked recently, like Christian, when you listen to a song, what do you listen to first? And
What do you
obvious-
listen to?
I was
The
listening
vocals.
vocals for sure. I was
Yeah.
raised as a vocalist. My father sings, and so like before lyrics, before instrumentation, I'm listening to the vocals.
Yeah.
What's the tonality?
That's
what's the
not us,
intonation?
right?
Negative.
Yeah.
And then, yeah,
Not
that's
me
different
either.
than you guys. And then I listen to like, okay, this person has solid vocals, and obviously that
I know.
probably at the same time as melody, and then everything comes after.
I know Greg and I are similar, especially when it comes to like Donda, for example, because there's just certain like melodic, really, you know, little things that happen and he will repeat them or sing them, and I'm like, oh yeah, that shit is like extremely intoxicating to me as well. But it's not necessarily like percussion or vocals. It's all different things. It's sort of, you know, same with our own record, like
Yeah.
sort
Is
of
Donda
offbeats
better
and-
than Certified Lover Boy? Is
Fuck
that-
yeah.
Oh, okay. Just
1000%.
seeing
So.
what
I would say so.
just seeing what the room was
1000%
in.
for
Okay.
All right, we're gonna put it like this.
Just checking the room.
There's
Just
like it was
1000%.
it's I'm gonna say shout out
Take
to
that, Aubrey
my
Graham.
brother Cameron. He said like two things that made sense to me. One thing he said was like, he's like every song, or maybe I said this, I don't remember, but he's like every song on Donda, like stands against, like every individual song on Donda stands against the whole album.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like one song
Can
It's
be
better than
can be
the
meets
entire
any
album.
meets any fucking.
Donda's really
Oh,
good.
you know what I'm trying to say.
Yo,
Donda's
Drake
really good.
is an incredible artist.
great.
Don't get me wrong, but
But I downloaded Donda the minute it came out and listened to its entirety.
and
Have yet to listen to Certified Lover
not
Boy.
even about the numbers either,
No.
bro. When we talk just straight musicianship
fucked
and
up.
a
Yep.
fucking album,
It's fucked up because he'd be like, he fucking set himself up to be this competition shit.
It's producer versus artist. It's
boy.
producer versus artist. And some people like really produced things.
Yeah, but Kanye
and
be saying, "Don't call me a producer rapper." You know what I'm saying? Because that's like
True.
a term or whatever.
That's exactly what I'm
That's
saying.
what he say.
He's not. He's
not.
exactly not.
but Donda,
Beautiful.
that thing took a dump all over CLB.
Yo, all right. But
I would
the other
say-
thing, hey, hold on. But the other thing, my boy Cameron said, my brother Cameron said, he said CLB sound like it came out in 2011.
That's when Drake was hot, bro. That's when Drake was killing it.
This
Whoa,
sounds
what
so
a big
old,
hit.
bro.
That's when Drake swept the Grammys. That's when Drake was
All
killing
right,
it.
hold on. But one more thing. I love Dark Lane demo tapes. I bumped that shit on repeat.
That's
Yeah.
a good. That's
Yeah.
a
For
good project.
months.
It's a good project. Yo, there's good Drake projects,
But
but
I
like,
Drake's
honestly-
not bad.
Timing-
CLB is just not better than Donda.
timing was terrible.
Yeah, he
Exactly.
just- he
That's all it
lost.
is. You could have chose a different month.
Producer's got in his
so hard.
ears.
Yo, there's this Bay Area rap page. It's called Thizzler. I think
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
what it's
yeah.
called. Yo, this
I
dude
think
goes,
all of us are
I'm not
on
gonna
that.
say who. I'm not gonna say who. But someone lost. Someone
Hey.
is a loser.
Hey, I'm gonna put it like this.
Is it maybe the one who claimed to rep the Bay for us and we didn't ask him to?
Someone is a loser.
Yeah,
I'm not
put,
gonna say who, but someone lost.
Yeah, but he's got a ring that says Toronto on it.
True. Good for him.
No, like when I see the
He didn't win
pictures
that
of
ring.
Drake, when I see the pictures of him, like just in his regular, he's just like, I'm Drake. I'm just like, I can see his loss in his eyes. You know
For
what
sure.
I'm saying? Like,
For sure.
there's a
He-
certain, like, you know,
Quintessential sellout.
no, it's almost like relatable. Like, I almost feel him. Like, it's like, damn, he's just like a regular guy like us who.
I feel like that man's needs to go sit in a wheelchair and go back to Degrassi
Whoa.
times. Like
I just
I'm sorry, when Degrassi 2.0 comes out, he's
no,
for
but
sure making a
Darling Demo
comeback.
Tape is so good.
I just blame his PR team.
yeah.
His PR team, like they should have scoped out, like they should have known that like Donda was like at its precipice of dropping.
But I don't really get I don't really get what Kanye's whole thing is. But sometimes I'm listening to Donda and I'm like, is this whole album about Drake? Like, why is he so mad at Drake?
Well, and supposedly the rumor on the street is that Universal put Donda out on that day.
Yeah.
Before
Yeah, there's a
Kanye
lot of
West
drama
wanted
with
it.
that.
What does that have
Yeah.
to do with Drake?
So maybe Universal knew that Drake's album was coming out,
Oh, so they want to drop it.
so they didn't want to wait until his
No, but
album
like
came
still,
out second.
ultimately, like when you play Drake's album, the first track, which we did,
I haven't listened to.
It's
I will be
not-
honest.
It gets better as it goes. Donda hits from the first second.
nah, but like when he did that,
Donda, 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 Donda.
yes, dude.
I was gonna say like any
Donda.
track
That
on
night-
Donda,
Donda.
including
The
that,
first day that I
Donda
watched
chant.
Donda, that night Halsey had a live performance that I had to watch with my girl, and I just commented on all the live stream Donda, 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 Donda.
I haven't listened to Certified Lover Boy yet. The only song I've listened to, Drake's not even on. It was the Yeah But interlude,
Oh,
and I was like, oh, that shit's dope.
Yo,
But that's all.
I will say
That's
too.
not a song.
Drake. This is the one thing I will give Drake credit for. The features that he had and the musicians that he put on are like
can get
it's-
'em.
It's well, no, it's different too, bro. Because like there, what's it? The knife. There's something about what's it called? Knife something. The end of that song. There's an outro with a piano solo, and that's Kiefer.
Oh, whoa!
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Yeah, but like Kanye also puts on like fucking I don't
Philip
know,
Cornish
like
and all
new
these people.
and shit. You know? What
No,
I'm saying?
you're right, but I'm just saying like the love that Drake is giving to like the underground scene, like some of these full like
That is cool. That is
Kiefer's
really cool.
Under bro,
But
who
when
kno-
you-
not a lot of people know
When you
about that
listen
dude.
to a Kanye album, like you're just like other rappers are rapping on the song,
Yeah.
and you're just like, this isn't even Kanye.
It's one
Yes,
thing. It's
dude.
one thing to feature Paul McCartney. It's another thing to feature an underground, piano player that nobody's ever heard of.
I just wish on Donda, like at least I'm slapping it on Spotify. I don't know where you guys are slapping it, but like when
Apple
I slap
Music.
it on Spotify, it doesn't show who's featured on.
No,
And,
you,
like,
go,
I'm
to,
not
you go to the
liner credits, man.
Yeah, there's a
And-
credits
Damn,
section.
I just because usually
go
the
to the
norm
lyrics
is
and
that you
wipe all
see
the way
that
down.
it's on the track, and so I'll
Well,
be like,
Kanye-
man, oh shit, Kanye's not like he doesn't open this song and like he doesn't come until the end, like, but it's fucking dope that he
I
is
love
featuring a
Kanye
lot of other
West.
people.
I don't fucking give a
Kanye's-
fuck about what the fuck
Kanye's-
you gotta say, bro.
Kanye's greatest
Ultimately-
fucking artist. The fucking,
Yeah, I'm
I'm
so
just
hold
ashamed
on,
that he
hold on,
broke Kim
hold on, hold on.
Kardashian's heart.
Alejandro.
I just wish he would have been a better husband.
Well, aren't they
No,
together?
no, no. Alejandro, no,
Let's go
listen.
high.
Listen, I'm gonna purify the room real quick with, like, I'm gonna let you know right now. It's just this simple. Thank you, Kanye West, for everything you've fucking done and contributed to our world in this
Music culture.
lifetime.
Damn.
Fashion,
Particularly
music.
and especially when it comes to musical
artisticism.
aesthetic, sound, sonic frequencies, and all the fucking features and collaborations and beautiful music you've created
Can't take that
through
away
the
from
years. And hold on, and the struggle of just being like a black man and just being like on the fucking come up and like doing it in a real ass way and like yeah,
Underdog.
sometimes you're misunderstood and like yeah, you could like be better about how you like express
We could all
yourself
be better.
verbally,
Yeah.
but so can we all, and that
Yeah.
also is like somehow a mirror of ourselves.
Yeah.
And so that's what's like the beauty and genius of your existence. And like
100%.
thank you, motherfucker, because like ultimately like what the work you've done just on a musical level is so unapologetically, unarguably fucking epically effective and fucking meaningful that like it just goes without saying that you should be thanked for your work.
1,000.
And fuck you if you fucking don't fucking like Kanye West because you're a fucking muggle bitch.
This is the one artist that has us saying you're such a fucking hoe. I love it. But then have us singing fucking gospel hymns and fucking all of these like, you know, just like thinking of the stuff that he's
able to cover
with,
everything.
So College Dropout or Donda, which is better?
Donda.
Really?
Honestly, like Greg was saying, like I feel like Donda is literally Kanye created a greatest. Hold on. Kanye created a greatest hits of himself, but it's all new fucking hits.
It's like now Kanye. Not now 2021. Now Kanye. This is like you hear all elements of fucking Kanye West in this one project.
I'm so mad we're talking about Kanye so aggressively because
that's how you gotta talk about him.
I really didn't want him, you know, because his influence is so strong. Like when you tap in,
He'll be on the next episode. Don't worry.
when you're an artist, okay, and you tap in to the aesthetic and pace of another artist who's like as sort of as profound and respected and known as Kanye West, it's just a weird experience as you're creating. Because I really personally feel like a lot of the things that, like, for example, he was doing to prepare himself and sort of portray and express his work that is Donda was similar to like what we were trying to do, you know, and it wasn't like in the sense of like copying, or it was just very natural. Like,
it's like timing, bro.
Everything was dark, for example, in our aesthetic. Everything was home. Like he did it in the stadium, we did it in our house, you know,
bro. Even like
He did it in the Atlanta Hawks Mercedes-Benz Stadium. That's
it is much more epic.
That's not a place to like hang out and get to know yourself.
Like real quick, even zooming into like the rhythms in Donda. Bro, you know how we were talking about the E?
Yeah,
I kid you not. There's a bunch of shit in that album where they're messing around with that beat. And it's like it's crazy to me because it's like one of those things where it's like, damn, they did it before me, but literally we did it at the same time. When we think about the albums and how they were created,
that happens a lot as an artist. And like,
you're right.
Yeah, and sometimes it can be like kind of, if your mind is like in a certain place, it can be kind of disheartening. And then sometimes if you're in the right place or whatever, it can be like sort of a sign, you know, that you're on the right path.
Just the fucking right place.
There's a certain aesthetic and movement that like a great artist like Kanye West is tapped into because of his freedom and ability to express
He has
himself
this
in the way he wants
freedom.
to.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
He has this freedom because like he's really gone through so many phases of criticism and like finding himself, especially like the way he came up, right? Being this producer that no one wanted at all, and then became this producer into rapper, and now this like more so beyond those two words, and even being criticized for his outlandish views, like how he was on Joe Rogan. But this guy is just like, he's so free, he's so himself, and yes, he's like he's different than your normal human being, but that's what allows him to create music that is fully different.
Kanye's vision and like his aesthetic and what he talks about is typically like something that we were talking about in our last episode, that like people who aren't like really musically or artistically sort of in tune don't understand. And it's very clear, like if you see like anything that's Kanye posted related and you see the comments or see what people have to say about it, it's similar to how someone might react to something that's like great on an artistic level.
Sure.
And like when you are an artist, you hear what he's saying, and even on a deeper level where like you don't even hear it at the first time like the way the masses hear it, because you're still part of that, you know, sort of tribe. But if you are an artist and you're sensitive and you're sort of like in tune and care about these kinds of things, like what like an artistic visionary or an artistic person might have to say who's on that platform, you go back and listen and you're like, fuck, he's fucking right, you know, or he's sort of like manifested what might have happened, or he's sort of so on the sort of how do you say, like he's sort of like, you know, he's accomplished, he's sort of been right, you know, for lack of better terms, on a lot of those kinds of things.
He's for sure a couple of steps ahead of all of us, and we don't even realize it. One of the things that I think about a lot that nobody gives Kanye credit for is one of the first things that Kanye did when Donald Trump was president was go and meet with him and hang out with him and wear MAGA hats and shit like that. And a lot of people hated him for that. But do you believe, and I'm asking a question, do you think Kim Kardashian would have had the audience of Donald Trump to get those people pardoned for unjustly crimes if Kanye hadn't sat there with him and worn that hat? I don't think so. I think the fact that Kim's able to go sit there and be an advocate for people who are unjustly charged with crimes and getting a president like Donald Trump to pardon them and not even know what he's doing, he's the reason why he's doing it. He sees the game 3, 4, 5 steps ahead of everybody. He's so far into this chess game that we don't even know what he's doing.
Yeah, I think at the time that all that happened, like, it was like really easy to see what he was doing as like confusing and stuff because of like everything that was already going on was already pretty confusing and hard to process.
It's still confusing, but looking at it from where we are now,
like it's clear that he was in a position that we really can't even understand, to be honest. Like in terms
he had
of
a chance we wouldn't.
Yeah, like he had a chance that we wouldn't exactly, and like. It's clear that like if any change could be made, like regardless of the fact that he's like you can judge like that he's like with a celebrity or he's a celebrity himself or that he's married to a celebrity and it's all bullshit about politics and he's like got Donald Trump in there who's like already kind of confusing and sort of like conveys this concept or aspect or like understanding of like
we're not talking about the concept, we're talking about things that happen.
And how it's like now somehow integrated with Hollywood and like our like celebrity worship and all that shit is just like really fucked up. But ultimately, like if you were in a person who was like in his position, who was like a celebrity and also like able to do that and like a particular visionary that like I already know like off the bat, like me and Greg can connect to, we can feel what he's like fucking trying to say and convey. I know I do because it's the same kind of message in terms of like art, you know, and like whatever work he's got to do is besides the point, like in terms of like how he actually
how he goes through it,
how he actually like properly expresses all of that stuff, which is its art in itself, which I'm confident he will figure out. But like regardless of that, like yeah, like you know what he had to do in that situation, blah blah. Honestly, like I mean to put it simply, like if he didn't wear the hat, I feel like it would have been like less of a big deal because the hat was just such a representation.
Yeah.
It's bad hat to shitty hat.
But he did like the Confederate
hat.
flags during the Yeezus tour and like just the concept of like I do that too.
Different
like,
time,
what I'm
but
doing
it was
right
bad.
now.
It's still bad.
Anything like you know we all do like aesthetically if we have like some kind of ethnic culture or background is about sort of like showing that we can own that we can sort of like kind of accept whatever's been put on us and almost make it dope because ultimately like somebody, for example, who like me, who's brown, or like Greg, who's brown, are able to.
There's a reason why the LGBTQ flag changed from just rainbow to rainbow with black, white, brown, and pink on it. Like they made a point to change it to accept more people. Things change. Symbols change. Just because you're doing something in the effort of what it's supposed to be doesn't mean you're the one who believes in all the things that it is. You're there to change it. I don't believe that Kanye West wore a MAGA hat because he believed everything that Donald Trump said.
Well, Kanye was saying like, oh, everybody's telling me what I gotta vote for.
Yeah.
Everyone's telling me I'm supposed to be Democrat because I'm black, and like obviously why. So that's like the part that everyone misses. It's like that's it. That's literally the end of statement. Like everyone wants to think. Hold on. Everyone wants to think like, oh well, then why would you? No, that's it. That's it. All he's really trying to convey is like, don't fucking tell me who I gotta vote for just because of how I look or what I am.
Yes.
And like me and Greg, like we don't like Donald Trump, but like we understand that concept and accept that concept because
it's one thing like Donald Trump. If your wife can now get an audience with him to get people pardoned for unjust crimes, yes, I would 100%
and then,
sit
like,
and have
while
dinner
you're at
with
it,
him.
yeah, and then while you're at it.
Just
I'll
to
wear
be
the
clear,
hat. I don't give a shit.
The only reason I fuck with Donald Trump is because my mom is married to a man that supports the dude. So let's just be clear for
mother's
all
also
the
married to a
people
man.
at home listening. That is my only reason for having any inkling of liking this dude because my mother has connections with some man that enjoys that dude's.
That's the only, and
That's the only reason.
I'm a big fan of Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. That's the only reason why
and
I
you
like
like
Donald Trump.
Trump's cameo
I like his
in
small
the Plaza
cameo
Hotel.
where he doesn't tell a small child where the bathroom is, and it's just like, you know what? Fuck small kids. That's what I'm
I would
saying.
say my favorite thing about Donald Trump, if anything, is
You're fired.
His hot daughter.
Ivanka, alright, man.
Come on.
What you talking about?
I don't know if you remember, he was portrayed in a Kanye West video of Famous, where he was shown naked sleeping in bed with Taylor Swift.
Yes.
Yep.
It was in Ray J and Rihanna, Chris Brown, and all those people. And then there was like a 4-minute.
That's why you like Donald Trump is because you saw him butt naked.
What was my point?
No, I think Greg got it. I think Greg got your point.
I think the only thing I'll say about Donald Trump that I like is that I don't really like anything about Donald Trump. I think
No, nobody does. Nobody does. Nobody
I
does.
like what
But he
hap-
sat in a chair that had the most power of anybody in America. So if you want to get something done in America, you got to sit there. You got to
I
play
don't
the
really
game.
like him. I haven't said anything 5 minutes. I'm
have
gonna
any-
fucking say that.
I don't
like him.
think I don't have anything
You don't have to
positive.
like
to
him.
say-
Like the chair he sat in.
I don't have anything positive to say about Donald Trump.
Nope.
I would just say that I get the idea of feeling like something has to be like what you're supposed to think, and then you're like, no. I don't have to think what anyone has to think. I think I have to think.
In Kanye's position.
The most positive thing that happened for Donald Trump was Kanye West wore his hat. That is all I'll say.
Oh,
It was
yeah,
for sure
but
the
like-
most polarizing. That was maybe the most polarizing thing he ever did. Of
Okay.
all the crazy shit
That
he
felt
did.
like a fever dream. I was just like, oh, fuck. Whoa.
Do you remember when he did that and he came out and he was shaking hands with him in the like
Oh my
gold-plated
God.
like
Yo, the only
elevator?
other thing, and then we can like wrap this up maybe.
Now I got one more thing.
Like Kanye lives for the fucking like
Drama.
the drama.
Yeah.
Like
And he makes
I
it work.
and I would do the same thing, man. If people are gonna give me such a hard time about a fucking hat that I wear, like I'm gonna make a big deal about wearing that hat, so y'all can just trip over that while I continue to do what I was actually there to do.
Like Prince.
Yes.
All right, but
1000%.
also, if you think the "Make America Great Again" hat wasn't dope, for like Kanye to wear the shit and it's like red with the white text, and he's just like still Kanye and still Kanye aesthetic, but he's just starting to incorporate that like red hat into his his look. If you don't think that's dope, you're a fucking muggle, bitch.
You know what I think it is?
The shit looks dope.
You know what I think it is?
Oh, Alejandro, I'm sorry. But ultimately, it's very simple. It's a red hat with white text. Everyone hated it. But it's fucking Kanye West, and he was like, I'm going to fucking wear this shit.
He probably like spelt the words different anyways.
I get it. It means this.
Maga.
It means that.
Okay.
It represents
No,
this.
look, it's the most
But hold
punk
on.
rock thing ever because it's the anti-establishment of what the establishment is. It's the same. It's the same.
I see what you're saying. It's the pure aesthetic.
At
It's
least
the,
at its simplest
No,
form,
I
don't be a
get what you're
muggle
saying.
bitch and understand the aesthetic
No, it's the
of being like, I'm going to wear whatever the fuck represents.
it's association,
I'm gonna own this
dude.
shit.
It's very similar to. Let me connect this real quick.
I got sent
Let
home
me
from school.
connect. Let me.
I'm connecting it.
God damn it!
This has become a
Shit.
controversial episode.
Well, no, it's the whole thing of like how you were talking about like how Hugo Boss unfortunately is the designer of Nazi uniforms and like
Not super
right?
unfortunate. They took a lot of money for it.
Gestapo.
Yeah.
No, it's fucking
but-
unfortunate.
Hold on, but
in history.
unfortunately, the United States is guilty of performing incredible acts of fucking
heinous acts.
heinous acts of murder, fucking theft, fucking robbing people of their livelihoods on so many different levels that it's like, sorry, I don't even remember what you're talking about, but I was just gonna say, like, on a grander level, like, fuck all that shit, like the fucking United States and fucking countries, these world powers playing with people's fucking lives, playing with women and children, fucking telling people, you know what I'm saying, deciding what people should do or whatever, making moves, fucking political moves based on, you know, acquisition of resources and, you know, fucking money, you know, there's some sick shit going down, you know what I'm saying, that is really like, I don't know, so much more beyond. That's the thing that's so frustrating is when I see Kanye talk about like make America great again, people be like, oh, but there's people in the cages and stuff at the border. But it's like, yes. It's like, yes, but like, shit, I'm gonna have a hard time with this. I'm really trying to connect this right here. Like, aesthetically, it's fucking dope. If you can see that, then you get the message pretty much, which is like this idea of like love all, you know, like find some kind of neutrality and observational perspective on the polarity of what's going on in this world and in our scenario of kind of our particular or our particular domestic politics, and then on a grander scale, like what's going on, like when you actually zoom out and look at what's going on in the world, like there's way worse shit going on. Shit, I don't even remember where this came from, bro, but like, yeah, like there's way worse shit going on. I don't know, like I appreciate, like, for example, you know, we're talking about Kanye, like I appreciate Kanye a lot. Like a lot of my appreciation falls on the aesthetic aspect of what he does, which is hard for, I think, a lot of people to see. Like, it's not really about Donald Trump and how his actions have for example, like cause people, cause families to be in like cages and all that kind of stuff. That is obviously dark and not something to be like celebrated or think that's cool. But for example, the concept of like a black man having to be told what he's supposed to vote for, or how he's supposed to think based off of like sort of his identity or his class,
Sure.
is a legitimate argument to be made. Like it shouldn't be something that's just determined, you know what I'm saying, by like typically I feel like a white perspective, to be fair. Like it's what, anyway. So there's that, and then there's just, I don't know where we were at, but there's just like what's going on. I sort of like on a grander scale. Maybe we should talk about the event, you know what I'm saying? Like what's going on in Afghanistan, for example. Like
let's transition.
Yeah, like
So-
what's your perspective
so like
of that? Because that is that's your background.
yeah,
And
so like
that-
ethnically I'm an Afghan. Like my mom and dad are from Afghanistan. They grew up in Afghanistan. They're born and raised there, just like me, you, all of us were born and raised where we are.
Yeah.
They were born and raised there. And so it's been 20 years since the United States went into Afghanistan for basically as a response to 9/11, what happened, with the Twin Towers. And, the idea is like, I guess, to find Osama bin Laden. There was like,
We were told that he was the head of the Taliban
Yeah,
and
the
Al-Qaeda, and so
Al-Qaeda,
that
yeah.
they were going to be in Iran, and he ended up being in Pakistan, and we just chose that as an excuse.
or Iraq, right? They
well,
wanted
Iraq
to-
had WMDs. That's why we invaded Iraq, because
So
we were told
Iraq,
that
like-
Saddam had nuclear bombs, and then Iran was sheltering Osama bin Laden, and then he wasn't, and we just
Nah, I don't think it was
toppled
that.
everything.
It was similar. Like it was Pakistan that was housing Osama bin Laden.
Which we found out later.
Yeah, and Pakistan is an ally to the United States, and going into Iraq was based off of like weapons of mass destruction, Dick Cheney, and sort of like the.
That's the secret state if anybody's looking for
It
it.
seems clear like that the influence of like going into that particular scenario in Iraq, for example, it had to do with like George Bush Sr. and like I'm gonna just say right now, just before I get too deep into this, is like I'm not really like a political expert. I don't really know much about it. I just have like a pretty basic understanding, but
I do, and you're right so far.
but I am an Afghan American. I was born in America. My parents are Afghan. I was literally one possible chance that they were able to get into this country away from being born there and being an Afghan citizen. What hits home about this particular scenario, about what's going on in the world, is that like a lot of Afghan Americans like me, we've been basically spending our entire lives and our experience as Americans under the seemingly sort of seemingly apparent lens of being a sort of outsider, being a terrorist, or being some kind of sort of threat, or some kind of sort of just strange thing to be here, to be in the United States, because of 9/11 and its association with Afghanistan and the Taliban and all that. The origins of the Taliban and the political story and history behind the origins of that, and the origins of the Taliban and the origin of Afghanistan, and how it's been constantly conquered, attempted to be conquered, and by different countries, and Genghis Khan, Alexander the Great, all that is sort of part of the story of Afghanistan, is that it's been constantly attempted to be conquered and failed. And America has become sort of its most recent example of that. It hits at home for me personally as an Afghan American, because I grew up in a suburban neighborhood post 9/11, dealing with feeling like this outsider, feeling like a sort of like, terrorist jokes, not respecting my name Suleiman and making all kinds of funny nicknames about it. Our neighbors giving us shit about our siding or our lawn, or how we sort of assimilated into a suburban single family home culture as people who grew up in not so, affluent, upbringings and apartments, roaches, etc. You know what I'm saying? Coming from an immigrant background and having to grow up in that environment. 20 years later, it has this particular effect for me, and I know for a lot of my my people, where it's just like it's kind of hard to take it lightly. You know what I'm saying? Like it kind of hurts. You know, the way that this country has been in Afghanistan for 20 years, in this sort of like mimicking this Vietnam type sort of pointless, endless war, and then this president we have now who's like not really cognizant, you know what I'm saying, and not really handling the situation at all well, and basically leaving these Afghan people after 20 years stranded and helpless as this regime that is so controversial, the Taliban regime, and this Taliban people who, if you look at the history, were really sort of created by the United States and other of these other world powers in the country, kind of looking for what they're looking for, and sort of subsequently created this thing, is now taking over the country, taking over the people, the men, women, and children who are just like my parents, you know, who could have easily just been there in this country that has been in this country that has American soldiers and American troops in it for this, you know, 2 decades, and then suddenly gone, and having to deal with the atrocities that come with a Taliban regime. Like, I mean, there's so many things I could say right now, but like, you know, the regime is that, you know, this Taliban regime we're talking about, it's like, it's no joke, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like you if you help the United States, for example, anyway, like your children, your wife, they're going to get tortured. You know what I'm saying? If they know that you helped, like,
It's generational punishment.
I
you're
think
just-
what's insane is that a lot of us have been, for those listeners, for people just in general that were born in the States and like were to have been as privileged to have been, like, I feel fucking lucky that I was born in like California, like a state of the 50 that is like very sought after to live in, you know. And I lived under a roof. My parents were immigrants and they moved here, like, and gave me a safe, loving life. And you forget that there are other people amongst the 7 billion that exist in this planet still to this day, with all the conflict and all the wars, like what's going on, like in Afghanistan. It's
there's constant suffering in the world. Like,
yeah,
you know, it's Afghanistan is Gaza one day, it's Afghanistan the other day, it's Yemen, it's Syria the other day. Like, people are constantly suffering in this world as we enjoy our Jameson or
people are blind to
talk
it.
about, you know, it's sort of the juxtaposition, the sort of irony, is the duality of our existence, is that like as we strive and try to figure out what we can do with our privileges and affluence or whatever, and then like I go to Marin County for work and I see all this affluence. It's like another level of affluence. It's like makes me
it's
uncomfortable.
so bougie there.
Yeah, and then there is like what we see in Afghanistan. What's going on is like people, you know, jumping off of planes that are flying off, you know, because they're trying to get out of the country and they're dying. You know, or like people's like you know, wives and you know, kids are being tortured in front of them, you know. So there's like really bad shit going on all around the world, particularly in Afghanistan, like particularly with like what's happened with this war. I just want to, you know, I don't know. I just, you know, while we're here, like I just want to take a moment to say like what's going on in Afghanistan, in the country, and as people, Afghan folks who are, you know, trying to come to America and other countries to claim political asylum. What's going on is like seriously tragic, and this is an ongoing crisis. It's definitely tied to our event that we're trying to have, that we intend to have on and later this month, as a charity event to try to help however we can.
Yeah.
For me personally, like I don't know what I can do, and when you are when you come to the understanding of what's going on, like in a country like that you're from, basically, you know, it's hard to process in this world, you know, as an adult. Like, what can I do? What kind of difference can I make? The best thing that I could come up with is like the thing that I'm best at is like playing music and singing and performing for people, and with my guy, you know, and we're gonna do that, and that's what our event's about, to like segue into our event. You know, what's going on in the world in Afghanistan is happening in a lot of different places. It's happening in a lot of places, you know, like in the Middle East and all around the world, Africa, and even in this country, like the kind of poverty and the kind of injustice and fucked up shit that's going on. People are struggling in all types of ways. But this obviously hits home. This is like where my people are from. I want to do something, you know, and so yeah, maybe I could talk a little bit about our event that we're gonna have.
Please.
So we just came up with an album. We've been writing an album for years now, really, to be frank. I mean, the music that we have compiled together has been a compilation of like really from the beginning of Greg and I getting together and just sort of slowly putting together projects, recording things that have been written in the past that sort of just needed to be completed, and then the newer things that you're gonna hear on this album. So, you know, our album's called Ocean Mountain. It's our first full-length LP. It's going to be available on September 18th. And on September 18th, we're going to have an event in Oakland, California, which is going to be a charity event for the ongoing crisis in Afghanistan. And sort of our gift or our
Tribute.
Our offering
Even
is to perform our album, which we worked very hard on, and we think is a sort of authentically artistic creation that ought to be shared and experienced by those who are interested in that kind of thing. Is what we can offer. It's our offering. Is our album, to listen to it and then to also perform it live. So we're going to be performing our album live and playing our album live. It's going to be at a yoga studio in Oakland at Left Coast Power Yoga on MacArthur Boulevard. So everything is going to be available on duoexp.com, duoexp.com. We'll have tickets for sale on there for the event.
You'll see one of us here. One of us will be there.
Yeah, it's going to be limited capacity. We want to keep the COVID protocols and make sure everyone's vaccinated or proves that they don't have COVID before they come in.
Yeah.
And really the sort of the point of this event is it's sort of a two-part thing. It's to play our music and perform our music and inspire folks to sort of understand like what kind of really fucked up shit is going on in the world. And how someone like me, who is an American, who's grown up here, who's, experienced a lot of what many people have experienced in terms of growing up in this country as somebody who, I guess, isn't white, you know what I mean, for lack of better terms, and just sort of has to experience what it's like to deal with the programming and understanding that people in this country generally have about folks who look like me or look like Greg, and what it might be like, and then like more specifically how it has to do with like this very specific war that this country has been in with Afghanistan for 20 years. And for me being somebody who, like, my father and my mother and my family's from there, how it really just sort of, I don't know, is something that at minimum has to be thought about and considered and sort of analyzed, and how, as an artist, which I am, and as Greg is, how we turn this understanding of how fucked up shit is and how fucked up shit has been and how fucked up shit is going right now, how we can convert, what we're able to do and what like God and what like the universe has given us in terms of like our skills, not just music, but our ability to like communicate with people and whatever it is that we're good at. Like, this is just our kind of showing of that, our expression of that. So, it is an opportunity to listen to our album and perform, but ultimately it is like a moment of like mindfulness of, we're really like in this world trying to live a good life for ourselves, and really like the best thing we can do is like take care of ourselves, be good to ourselves, and do what's right for ourselves, and that helps our neighbors and that helps our community. Like when we focus on how we'd be better people, you know. On a grander scale, like these world powers that are like dealing with politics and dealing with people's lives, it's just so fucked up that it's hard to even really like do anything about it, you know. Like they literally like they dropped the biggest bomb like I think in history for like a long time in Afghanistan. They call it mother of all bombs or something. Like when Trump was in office, they just dropped that shit in like the fucking country land somewhere, almost like to test it basically. But like people died, you know what I'm saying? So like I think like just the timing of what happened and what's going on right now in my parents' country, like where I'm from, and like our you know our creation, it's just it had to have been done this way. Like, you know, we need to do this for like a better cause, you know. I think people are like uncertain about being out in COVID right now or like going out to do anything in general, and I think like I hope that people are inspired to come like out for a good cause, you know, at least, you know, like we're going to make sure that the event is like safe, everybody's vaccinated and everything. But yeah, I know people will like the album, but I also want to make sure that people understand like, you know, this is like an event that we're going to have to try to basically do whatever we can, you know, in our community, whether it's, you know, as small or as big as it is like this is what we can do. So yeah, man. Just to bring it, you know what I'm saying, like to the real shit. Like, there's some fucked up shit that's going on in the world. That, like, you know, it's like if we talking about Kanye and stuff, like, and Trump and all that. Like, the politics around what's going on right now, regardless of who your like political preferences, is just so really fucked up, and it's kind of outside of like left or right or Democrat Republican. It's just sort of like the powers that be, or however you say it, like, is really what the issue is.
Sure.
Yeah, man, I just feel like, you know, emotional about the shit, you know. It's just really, it's hard to.
Well, it's a big deal, man. I mean, like, and it's, I think one of the main issues of today's age is that life can be so lavish that the only way we can know something happens is if we see it on our TV. And even then it exists in our lives for 15 minutes. We think about it and then we move on with our own lives. And that's the shitty part.
Like, let me just like say this, like, if for example all of us right now, we're just in our rooms right now and are like, you know, your mom and dad's house, like how we, whatever we are, but like we're in Afghanistan, you know, and like we're men, so we're like kind of good, but then like our sisters or like our moms or like our wives or like our little cousins or whatever, they're all subject to this like certain just like fear sort of based lifestyle. The cards that we have been dealt, you know, the life that we've been given, the circumstances that we've been, you know, sort of granted, the likelihood that we would have been granted whatever these Afghan people that I'm talking about is very high. You know, it's just circumstance. It's just like literally like regard for one's existence wherever it came from. Like somehow we were just regarded into this whatever life that we have. And it could have equally have been somebody in the Philippines who was less fortunate, or the, you know, Afghanistan. Understanding that and having the empathy and finding that place in your heart to like just understand that concept is like the same exact thing that I think like can help you tune into like maybe what Kanye is trying to say about the world and life in general, or just like what any comedian might be trying to express, you know, any modern comedian might be trying to express about what's going on in the world. It's that it's just, it's much more complex than we might think it is in our day-to-day life.
I think people just got to feel more. I mean, like, that's why, and we'll wrap this up soon.
Nah, dog.
You said nah?
No, I'm just playing.
But I've been made fun of for my level of sensitivity, for my level to feel for others, or that I am too nice. It is a subject that has made me very emotional in the past, and I'm not going to get emotional. But I do believe that it is something that I'm willing to sacrifice my own masculinity that society expects of me, to be sensitive, to empathize, because I've won more in life than I've lost.
Well,
And
like,
I think that
Go
we
ahead.
should all empathize more, because like shit like this in the world is happening.
with like all this shit that's happening in the world, like these negative shit we're talking about is like men is doing it.
Yeah.
To be real.
Yeah.
So like when we talk about like empathy and talk about being sort of understanding of these kind of things, like it is ultimately like a major responsibility for us as men to feel, number one, just to feel and to like accept that that's okay to feel these things that we feel, like when it comes to like the hardships of like what's going on in the world and the suffering and like simultaneous suffering as we enjoy life.
Yeah.
Especially as like Californians, bro, like we got it really good. Like
Yeah.
we drive around and there's a mountain and there's a fucking ocean like 20 minutes away. So
Yeah.
you know, these things are things to be grateful for. Like we have like our particularly sort of like established list of things we can be grateful for as men who are Californians who live in this time that we live in and like with the privilege that we have. But it's not a bad thing to feel, that's for sure, man. We need to definitely tap into that. And
Greg, anything you got to say before
Shit.
we get out of here?
Nah, check us out, man. He said it right.
Yup.
Yeah. I like good music. We make good music, and this album that's about to come out is about to blow your mind.
Top of the
yeah,
line.
shout out to my sister Myra. Shout out to Myra John at Myra John Shop. It's MAIRAJOHN Shop. That's the clothes I'm wearing. My sister's fucking dope designer. She fucking shit on all of y'all. And also shout out to Greg Sunga, my fucking brother, my fucking friend, my bandmate, my roommate. Thank you for everything, for just everything, the brotherhood, the music that we've created together. Thank you to you guys for having us. In short notice, we're trying to promote this fucking event. Please come out, buy the tickets at duoexp.com, duoexp.com. We have tickets on sale, limited tickets for our limited capacity event, Oakland, on September 18th. Listening/performance event. We're going to be playing the album live, and we're going to be playing the album for you through 2 Apple HomePod speakers. It's going to blow your fucking mind. And we're going to have food, and we're going to have
Drink.
and we're going to have a drink, and we hope to see you there.
Strippers.
And thank you to It Can't Be That Bad podcast for having us.
Shout out. It can't be that bad.
Y'all always
ICBTB,
take
baby.
care of us. We appreciate y'all, man.
Yeah,
Yo,
guys.
you use any of those beats I gave you yet?
Dude, I don't know what to
Send
use
me-
them for. I
send
want to
your
use them
theme
for
song.
like the Freestyle Fridays, dude. I haven't created any like videos outside of this podcast to use it for yet, but I freaking will, dude.
You heard it here first. It can't be that bad, people. What do you call them?
All right.
Baddies. You heard it here, baddies.
Yup. Alejandro, I'm Christian. Baddies, y'all know where to check them out. Take
Yo.
it easy. Have a good week. Peace out, y'all. Bye.
Be that bad, oh,